Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on the forum.
And this is Parker, go by Dr. Mantis Toboggan MD on forums.
This is Jeremy. I just want to go back to Disney.
This is Aaron, or Aaron on the forums.
Jeremy, did you have fun at Disney?
Listen, it's the most magical fucking place. It's magical, and it only has happiness.
Is it magical because per capita there should be way more heat strokes?
People don't realize this, but the closest spot to the sun in this galaxy
It's Disneyland.
is actually the center of Florida.
I've been to Florida before. It was quite hot. Yeah. I don't think it was nearly as hot as when I went to Houston, and it was 114 degrees with 90% humidity. Oh my god, that was miserable. Oh, I've never been so miserable. It was so hot. I don't like heat, but I can usually put up with it for a decent amount of time. But oh my god, it was hot. It was like you were in air conditioning in a sealed room, and it would take you, normally it takes you 5-10 minutes to adjust to the cool temperature and you feel better. It was hours of being in an air conditioned space before you felt not terrible again. It took so long to recover.
You were so hot.
It was like your liver was baking. Yeah, it was just I'm just sick. I feel miserable.
It was so hot. I look over and my girlfriend is dipping her neck rag into the water on a water ride and then putting it around her neck. And I was like, you now have worms. Are you kidding me? It was the most, ugh. Good
By the way, those hydro towels you put around your neck that hold water for a long time, those things work.
Dude, those are amazing. Those save your lives. Yeah. That was the one.
Yeah, it makes it feel 15, 20 degrees cooler than it is.
And those stay wet.
You'll still be hot, but it won't be as bad. Yeah.
I don't understand how they work exactly, but it's science.
Evaporation.
It's because you have a bunch of blood vessels running through your neck.
No, I'm saying the rags. Those rags that actually hold the water, that are special.
The kind of cloth that retains the moisture without it evaporating.
Yeah.
It will evaporate.
Oh, it is evaporating, or else it couldn't keep you cool. The water itself doesn't keep you cool. It's the evaporation of the water.
I understand all that. These
He's
rags
saying he doesn't
slowly...
understand how the...
Yeah.
I'm guessing
it's more of a foam than an actual cloth. Yeah.
It's something like that. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal how they work. I was wringing the thing out after 3 hours. It was still wet.
So
weird.
We had an ice machine at my warehouse job, and so I would just go in every 2 hours, and I would lay the thing out flat, pour a line of ice down the middle, and then roll it up and put it over my neck, so I had actual ice water in it.
Oh my god,
that helped a lot. Yeah,
I thought of this the other day because when it was hot here in KC, I went to the grocery store and I saw somebody pushing carts outside. And when I used to work at grocery stores and I push carts, I'd come in, they make you wear those thick polo shirts, and they would just be soaked all the way through with sweat, even being out there for 10 minutes pushing carts in that hot parking lot. So I would just, without even looking at anyone, don't make eye contact with a manager or anything, just walk straight past my job station, all the way to the back into the loading and unloading area where they had the super deep freeze where they kept
walk into the ice cream freezer.
Yeah, it's the super deep one, not the one, not the display one or anything. And I'd walk in there and I would close the door and I would just sit in there until my shirt was hard. That was my gauge to know I had been there long enough. When my shirt was solid, I would get up and I would leave, and that's how I would cool off. Because man, it would just be brutal in those parking lots. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, all right. So announcements. Jeremy is back. He didn't die in Florida, which is a surprise. It was kind of actually a plan to get rid of him, but unfortunately, he's back.
He's making America great again. Oh wait, that's Florida words. I'm sorry. I picked that up.
Other announcements. Parker, you're down to 647 probationary episodes.
Boom!
Hell
boom,
yeah!
Boom.
Just knocking them off. That's pretty much all I got. Parker, what you got for us?
I got some news. So, can't beat last week, but we do have something. The Red Guardian, Nikolai Krylenko, we know what he does. As a brief overview, he's interesting. He's a 3-coster, 5 health and front side, 6 in the back. Otherwise, he's identical. He's 3/4, size 2. He's got a gaining strike, so he's the yet another Winter Guard model that doesn't build, but he gains. at range 2, 5 dice, and automatically pushes size 3 or less. His shield throw is identical to Captain America's, also a gainer. And then he has Siberian. What's that? Is it different?
It's identical to original Captain America. Captain America now has 5 dice.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the
Yeah,
original
it's
one.
4
yes.
dice throw.
It's
It's
4
actually
dice.
identical to Taskmaster, is what it is now.
But I thought
Oh no, because he doesn't gain the power.
he doesn't gain
now
power.
there's 4 different ones.
Yeah,
oh my
there's
God.
4 different shield throws now. Is Sam 4 dice?
Yes,
But he
but
pushes.
his push is on damage.
Oh, okay, so yeah, there are so many different shield throws.
There's 4 different shield throws.
Ta-da!
Okay, go ahead.
And then he also has Siberian Shield Slam, which is his spender, rolls 6 dice and throws short for size 3 or less. So yeah, he just got 3 like bread and butter kind of attacks. You want to talk about powers? You want to talk about attacks?
I want to talk about attacks.
Okay.
I love that this guy's just fucking Dollar General Captain America. This is so great.
Mhm.
If I'm recalling correctly, he's almost exactly the same as Captain America, except gainer, not a builder on the strike. He doesn't need a wild to push,
Mhm.
and then the shield throw loses a die, and then Siberian Shield Slam costs 3, not 2.
I think he's great.
Yeah, he's very solid for a 3-pointer, I think.
Yeah, his attacks are really like, what do you want to do? Always want to gain some power. I always want to do something to the board. Always. You're like, well, Red Guardian. There you go. Like, it's always going to do something. Feels
I
good.
mean, honestly, his strike always pushing is huge. Like,
Yeah.
that's so good.
Yeah.
He's got a throw. Like, yeah, man, he really comes with everything for 3, and he's got the rare like he can kind of hang out, and his Mystic defense is 4, which is weird. Like I wouldn't expect that. Everybody else.
I think it's supposed to be his like resolve, right? He's supposed to be a big
Iron
will,
will.
a strong will.
Obviously, he's going to build power like a maniac.
Speaking of using power and staying alive, a good segue into his first power. For 2, he gets to use blanks on defense for physical and energy. That's Black Panther's version, right? The backside Black Panther. Yeah, because it costs 2, which is backside Black Panther's vibranium armor, and he also has passively the exact same ability that Sin has. If he's not dazed when he takes damage, he gains an extra power. So
Seems to
more
be very
defensive.
solid for.
yeah, I really like
Right,
one of the
right.
cool things about that. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Jeremy.
No, go ahead. That's it.
I think anyone who has never used Sin, because I've actually put Sin on the table a lot, would know that if Sin only took 1 damage or 2 damage, like she has a crazy amount of power. If you've ever used the backside Black Panther, you would know that when he spends 2 to add his blanks and then he doesn't take any damage, or he takes like 1 damage, the next one he can't use it again, and he just goes one-shot on his backside. But I think it's really interesting that they gave him both of these things, because it means when you spend 2 and he only takes 1 damage, well, now he gets 2 back, so he can just keep doing it.
Yes.
There's actually a way. I think he could really easily start chaining defense and be a lot harder to kill than his defense looks.
Also, there's Crimson Dynamo, his leader, has a beam 4, so you could sometimes intentionally clip him with the beam to give him 2 power if you want, or a power if you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I really want to set up my Soviet Shield Slam for my next attack. But, like, I'm just gonna clip him, give him an extra power, and he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, there's a couple damaging yourself effects. Mordo damages you to get extra dice. I don't know if you'd go out of your way to do this, but it's something you could do and get a power from
True.
Walk through your own Black Bifrost.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, because it's an allied effect. Yeah.
but it doesn't trigger on like cubes or gamma.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah, I really like Darkstar, and I really like him. So if Crimson Dynamo is okay, I might try this faction just to see it. My very first minis game I ever played, I played the faction no one wanted to play because they were the doorstop faction that just stood there and took lots of hits and died slowly and tried to win that way. And I really enjoyed that. That was my first. I cut my teeth on that faction, and that feels like this faction. Even more so than Avengers, because Avengers got kind of dynamic with their whole as the game got bigger. But these guys just seemed like big bumps in the road, and I think that could be fun.
I think they seem pretty plain Jane, really. I mean, they got a couple things that are okay, but compared to models like Heimdall and all this new shit that's coming out, it's just kind of bananas. I don't know. I'm not sure. Just having a couple decent stats and a couple cute things. I mean, again, Luke Cage is very, very good, but he's very, very plain. So, like, okay, they might be really good.
I like one of the things I've noticed since the changes to specifically MedPack and field dressing is I think every model on my board is going to die. If the only thing that's going to make that not happen is if I'm doing an extraordinary amount of damage to my opponent and making it happen early and often, or if I am purposely losing very slowly. And so as long as I throw dice at them and they throw dice at me, if I'm losing slowly or doing way more earlier to them, then I'll have an advantage in that I'm going to lose models. I'm going to lose health. You're going to lose models. You're going to lose health. I wonder if these guys slow it down enough, or if you should just keep playing more offensive factions. I don't know.
More offensive. I'm very uninspired by Winter Guard. I wanted to be so inspired. I think they could have doubled down on the we're not moving or we're tanky. But I look at the models. There's nothing about Red Guardian that's bad, but he's not good. I don't think he does anything special.
Much like Darkstar, I think he's going to get his best use out of Winter Guard.
I'm just sad that the bear isn't better than it is.
I don't think he's bad, but God, he's boring.
I'm just like in the world of, 4-point models, like, really?
Well, I don't think, honestly, most factions have a Ursa, right? Most factions have a 4-point model or a 3-point model that just feels like they should be they're just bad. They're just, they're overcosted for what they probably do on the table. I don't think it's so sad that Ursa is a little bit behind the curve. When they have 3 models, I think they work just fine. That's what a faction needs, right? They need a leader and 2 other models that work. And I think this faction does.
If the bear isn't doing, like, Leonardo DiCaprio decapitations, like, they've missed an opportunity. Like, that motherfucker should be going bananas.
And
yeah, I do feel like he was a missed opportunity. I do think he's fine. I think he's better than Crimson Dynamo. I'll have to see Crimson Dynamo work before I get excited about him. He does not seem interesting to me.
There's another thing we haven't talked about yet is that Winter Guard, they've already spoiled Extravaganza. They're supposed to be a smaller faction, pretty self-contained, but it's unlikely that there will be just these 4 models, right? There's likely going to be at least 2 more, and Bucky's a really good contender because he's.
I thought
Russian.
They said specifically don't expect other people to be part of the Winter Guard just because they're Soviet.
True, that's true. But Bucky's not Soviet. He just worked for Soviets for a while.
Was he part of the Winter Guard?
Don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
But, Deadpool's in the Avengers, and he was once, I think, for an issue as a gag. So Cable's in the Avengers, and he was kind of in the future because he had Captain America's shield.
Sure, but they're looking for reasons to add people to Avengers. They literally said don't expect those characters to be added to Winter Guard.
I get it. But if Winter Guard is only 4 models, that would be kind of extraordinary, right? Because I think the smallest faction we had was 5 or 6, so...
The smallest faction we have is 5 with Wakanda.
5, yeah.
I was going to say, Wakanda's been struggling forever, and there's a new movie coming out.
That's true.
Oh, sorry. That is incorrect. Dark Dimension has the fewest characters.
Technically, yes.
Dark Dimension has all the characters.
Dark Dimension always has a roster of 10. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're always
only
solid.
one of them is affiliated. Which is why when you play in the best in affiliation tournament, you play solo Dormammu, and it's really sad. It's like, do you feel like losing 3 straight games just to get a trophy? Like, is that what you want?
Yeah, I don't know if we should expect Black Widow to be in it, but she makes some sense. As does Winter Soldier. He makes some sense. I don't think I will be very surprised if it's just 4 models. That would surprise me.
I would be surprised if it's not just the 4 models. On initial release, I think we will get a Yelena and maybe Black Widow kit or something in the future. Because Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not going to be added, and the Black Widow in the core set is obviously an Avenger. So
I'm willing to make a
know.
probation bet if you're so sure.
Head
there's only
shave
gonna be
bet
4.
on the table. You heard it,
Head
Brandon.
shave bet on the table
I
right
Yep,
will
now.
never
on the
head
table.
shave. I will.
I'll
never,
shave my head just so that you do a head shave bet.
Head shave
I
bet
could
on the
never-
table.
I
I'm
could
in.
never-
Head
I will never die. I will never do it.
I swear, I will never die.
Yeah, being part of the cast now requires you to shave your head.
It was nice knowing you guys. Then good. Best of luck to you. Keep that seat warm. I'm gonna head out. You guys have a nice night.
Parker's too goddamn proud of his hair.
I love my hair.
He is too proud, and he also
too
knows
beautiful.
it quit. He knows it quit growing 5 years ago, and he can't let it go.
hmm This is
He
all
hasn't had
that's
a
left.
haircut in 6 years, and he's like, I can't ever cut this.
Yep. It's basically doll hair at this point.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So you're not gonna let me make a probationary bet. You're not gonna do it. I want to make a
What?
bet.
We'll propose a bet. What's your bet?
I will bet 100 episodes that there are more than 4 Winterguard members when they print the affiliation.
More than
list.
4. Well, but no. Has there ever been an affiliation that launched with just 4 though? Like this feels
Wakanda.
like you're gonna have to give me some serious odds for this.
Wakanda, right? Didn't they just release? Yeah, they released 4.
Wakanda launched with 4, but that was like the first wave of the game when there was 14 models or 16 models. So like that's not representative.
Okay, so you're saying that it's such a long shot that you are right. That
Right.
okay.
Or like give me a number. Like, is it 6? Like you bet they have 6 affiliated models on launch?
Okay.
Like if it's just more than 4, well then the odds are heavily in your favor. But if you're like,
Mhm.
I bet they have 8, like I'll fucking take it right now. Like
Okay.
so it's
Let's
where's
bet.
the line?
Let's bet 100 episodes that there are 6. I'm going to say 6.
So with this justification, either they would be spoiling new models in the future. Okay, so how about this? Are we counting unreleased models?
What I'm thinking.
So like when the Brotherhood affiliation dropped, they had
When X-Force-
Scarlet Witch and Juggernaut on
when
the
X-Force dropped, Colossus
Yeah.
was a blue name.
Right.
I am.
So are we
I
just
am,
counting known affiliated models?
I
or are
am
we counting
betting.
released?
This is what I'm betting: is that when the
Okay.
affiliation list gets updated, the PDF, there will be
There'll be
8. There will be 6 blue names underneath Winterguard, and
Okay.
regardless of where they come from, there are 6. That's what I'm saying. There won't just be
Okay.
4. There won't be 7. There will be 6.
I'm in. Let's do it.
50 episodes
Alright.
plus head shave. Done.
I actually
50
think.
episodes plus head shave.
I
You heard
actually
him.
think. I actually think it's a really good bet for you because exactly 6 is. I don't know what the odds are of that, but it's
Plus-
probably not great.
Affiliate.
I was surprised you didn't go 6+. I mean, you just dig your own grave there.
Yeah, you did exactly 6, right?
I thought it should be 6. Yeah, you said you would want a number. You said you didn't
Yeah.
want.
So, but if it's 7 or 5, I win, right?
I thought that's what you wanted. That's what you wanted
Okay.
the bet to be.
No, I'm good. All right. Let me delete this plus sign I put in here.
I feel it's unfair.
I cannot imagine
That's
they'd
not
have
cool.
7 though. So like, it doesn't really matter. Who? Okay, how about this? If it's more than 6,
I get half it back maybe instead of 100 is 50.
I was gonna say it'll be a push, but then my odds go back to shitty.
I think I should lose something if it's not 6 because I'm saying 6, but maybe
Okay.
if it's more than 6.
So you're
if
saying
it's
6
something-
affiliated.
I'm saying we'll do like a little side bet for what is that 50?
Okay.
That more than 7.
We'll hedge as we get closer. We'll see.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. If you want to hedge later, we can.
Okay.
I think the odds of more than 6 is so minuscule it won't really matter.
Okay.
Like that's less than 1%, I think.
You didn't put
Like,
the
who
number.
would they
Are you
even
just gonna
add?
try to remember?
Like it'd have to be like Yelena, Bucky, either a new Black Widow or the original Black Widow is like the only way I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Who was in charge of the Red Room?
Harvey Weinstein.
Wah wah.
Back.
Got him.
Wah 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 wah. You did it.
You had that one right in the hopper. That was good.
I
Yeah,
did.
that
I
was
did have
quick.
that one
You didn't
right.
even have to think about it. That
No,
joke
I
was
did.
ready to go.
Well, I've made that joke before, so
Mm.
I was as soon as you said Red Room, I was like, oh baby, let me just fucking
Yep.
drop this on him. Let
But
me
is,
get you some
is that a
word in.
legit bad guy? Like, I don't know who he is.
Oh, I don't know if he's like a canon character. I assume he is. Someone's got to be in charge of the Red Room. I don't know if he's the one that's in charge of the comics.
So there is a Red Widow, who is I don't think that's Yelena. Let me look. And Perun. Oh, Perun. You know the guy, the
Russian god of lightning.
Yeah, the Russian god of thunder. Yeah. Well, he's not
Yeah,
really.
it's Thor's like
Yeah.
rival in the Russian mythos.
I don't believe in it.
He's the Slavic deity,
Nope,
not Slavic.
that ain't real.
Because Slavic is Scandinavian, right? What's
Yeah,
the,
it's Slavic. You're right. It's the Slavic.
Slavic
God of
is
thunder.
Russian.
Well, part of what is Russia now was
Okay.
Slavic territory. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
It's like the Roman and Greek gods, like they're like kind of similar.
you are correct because the Swedish people and the Russian people of the Slavic territories have mixed for thousands of years up and down those rivers.
Okay. All right. So that's going to wrap up Winterguard, right? Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
Oh.
I did have a small announcement. It's very in advance, so there's no rush on this. But we just announced the dates for Show Me Showdown next year. I'm taking over as the organizer of the Marvel Crisis Protocol section of Show Me. So I'll be running all 3 of the tournaments that weekend. Friday, we have a warm-up tournament that starts at 1 o'clock, goes to 7? Yeah, it goes to 7 o'clock. It's a 3-round warm-up tournament in July. After that, on Saturday, we're having a what we're hoping will be a LVO qualifier. It's going to be a 6-round tournament. 5 rounds are going to be on Saturday. We'll go till 7 p.m., and then we'll wrap, and final table will be on Sunday morning. Unless the 2 people that are on final table want to play Saturday, we'll let them play if they really want to get out of there. And then Sunday, we're doing a 3-person tournament, team tournament on Sunday morning that will end at about 5 o'clock. It's going to be the 3-person format where it's the ATC style where you'll have 3 people on a team. They'll each play individual games. And then the best 2 out of 3 takes the round.
Sounds cool, man.
It's going to be fun. Tickets just went on sale. We're having up to 60 people. So we've greatly increased our space, and it's going to be a really good time.
Are the lists unique
for details? What'd you say?
I say, are the lists unique for the 3-person tournament?
I have not posted that yet. We're still we're gonna talk about it a little bit more.
Make it unique.
I would like them to be, but it hasn't been finalized. Let's see here. The website we want to go to is showmeshowdowngT.com. Oh, sorry, showmeshowdowngt.com. My bad. And then just go to ticket sales, and all the info's there. You get a discount if you bundle all 3 events together, and so it's heavily discounted if you go to all 3 events. Anyway, moving on. Did you guys have any fun stories about playing games recently you want to talk about? Currently playing?
I have a fun story about Aaron.
Oh, I like stories about people that are in the room.
Because I walked up to Aaron, who was trying out Asgard, because he wanted to see how Asgard does now. And he and his opponent agreed without speaking that they were going to play a game without their respective leaderships. And so, Aaron, could you elaborate on why it is you chose to do that?
What the fuck?
It was a really good game that came down to the wire, but both him and his opponent were sure that if they used their leaderships at any point, it could have been a very different game.
Did you just both always forget?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So I used to play Asgard quite a bit, and it took a little while, but you get in the habit of before you start moving. So I'd always remember, like in the middle of one of my activations.
In the middle of the move, yeah.
I mean, like, oh, I should heal. Shit, I'll remember that next turn, and then forget next turn. So when I used to play Asgard, I got really good at it, and this was my first game picking Asgard back up after like 8 months. And so, yeah, I completely forgot to use the leader. I used it like twice all game. I should have used it about 20 times. And my opponent was playing Sam, and they always forgot to move and heal after I dazed the character. So yeah, Parker's just sitting there watching us fumble fuck our way through a game and not saying anything.
Like, you guys suck.
Yeah.
I was trying really hard. My lip was bleeding. I'm just like, they aren't doing it.
Convocation is kind of that way as well. You gotta remember your leadership.
So I played my first game with Malekith recently. He turns out really good.
Did you find that was your opponent like unable to catch what he was going to do, or did it feel like you couldn't stop him from what he wanted to do?
So it felt like, I've never played Black Order, but it felt like playing Corvus in Black Order. So my opponent played Scarlet Witch, wanting to put every condition in the world on me, and I played Keiji and back. And then when I finally had enough power, I just smashed a size 3, charged in, dazed Witch and Luke Cage, got Party next turn, KO'd Witch.
Mm.
So it's the whole, I'm going to kill you when I want to and not let you do anything you want to do. And there's nothing you can do about it, other than hope my dice shit to bed.
Overcoming priority on those big models is hard.
Man, sounds great.
It was awesome.
What was he playing for friends, or did it matter really who his friends were?
You mean the other models?
Yeah, who else were you playing? Yeah.
But I was playing him, Killmonger, Hood, and Luke Cage. So I was 4 white at 17. Luke Cage was obviously there to keep Malekith alive, to take Witch's big spender if he got that off. And then Killmonger and Hood are what I think I wanted for 7 points with the list I had. The entire game came down to what Malekith could or couldn't do.
So would you say Dormammu is still better than Malekith, or 7 points seems to be about
He's
fair?
definitely a full point better, I would say.
Would
Yeah,
you say
clearly.
that?
I would, yes.
I mean, he's 8 points. I don't understand what your question is.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is infinitely better on the tabletop right now.
Shut up. That. You
I
son
find
of
I
a
get
bitch.
I get disqualified way less when I play Dormammu.
Exactly. You can't play Malekith on the tabletop yet.
Damn. True enough.
So what you're saying is this was like a simulation type of game that you were playing.
It was League 4 or Week 4 of the TTS League.
Yeah,
So
I was
yes.
kidding. I
A
was trying
simulated
to,
game.
like,
I think
drop the hints.
I think
You were just
Dormammu.
coming over the top with it.
What's funny is I think at first I thought, well, Malekith is just like a really aggressively costed, and Dormammu must just be paying for his leadership. But Malekith also has a leadership that gives his army power and healing and movement. I'm just like, there's no reason why Dormammu should exist like he does. I guess except that you could put any combination of models with him ever, and so they had to make that really expensive.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty different.
They are different.
And I think obviously, much like any time they release a model fairly early on in the concept, they want to make sure they're not going too far.
Yeah.
And so their 8-point experiment, I think, was obviously a little short, and it's not as impactful as they wanted it to be. That said, Dormammu is still a powerful game piece. He's just not consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They learned their lessons from Dormammu, but there was a walk 4 they could run.
Exactly.
Just
Just
like
like Ebony Maw was a clear playtest for Magneto, and they learned a lot of lessons from it. And now Ebony Maw right now is great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's very premium model.
Yeah.
And so they've learned a lot in game design.
I have been playing against only Avengers. I just realized just now on the podcast that I've played, I think, 5 games with Inhumans, and I think I've only played against the Avengers. So if anybody has a list that's not the Avengers, I think I'd like to try it against Inhumans because I've been practicing that a bunch. But I can tell you, Inhumans does very well into Avengers right now, at least. So far, so good. I took the memes. Cool. I took the memes out of my Avengers list. It doesn't have Sinister and the cloning stuff anymore, and I just went with really just as high efficiency as I can. Moving power around and making money. Rather power off of that. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed it so far.
You're a coward.
I don't know if the faction is good yet because I really need to play it into some other super aggressive factions. Literally all I've played it into is Avengers, and they're kind of passive.
Yeah, they're not really proactive. They kind of just sit back and defend.
3 of the games have been against Hulks, and I've just killed him every time because the Inhumans are really good on big single models that don't stop me from hurting you. Just like, and I just mowed through them. So I would like to see that. What's up?
I'm actually more excited these days to see big single models than I am to see a shitload of small ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tend to not... There tends to be like, those are all shitty. I'm not sure where to start. Like, a big Hulk, I'm like, all right, I'll just get that guy.
Definitely more engaging, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, which 3-point model with 5 hit points and 3 defense are you going to attack before? Because, they all have rapid fire, so who the fuck cares?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you're describing my list.
Yeah, I know. I mean, to be fair, it's not exclusively yours. It's not like it's a new discovery that rapid fire is good.
Yeah.
So anyway, recent games I played, I went to the Melee at Shiloh over the weekend in Arkansas, and I played 4 rounds in their event. First round, I played against Black Order. It was the typical Thanos build, except that we played 19 points. And so, Jeremy, would you like to guess which model he added to his Black Order list at 16? It's your favorite model.
Heimdall.
Heimdall. Luckily for me, it mattered literally not once. So the first round, we played Alien Ship and Incursions, and he picked 19 points. I picked 19 points. I played Strange, Ghost Rider, Wong, Mordo, and who was my other model? Oh, Voodoo. That was the other guy. First round, I moved Strange up to the left side, which is the opposite of where his whole army was. Then Thanos double moves, and Space Stones Corvus, or just Space Stones himself, ends about 3 away from Strange. Mind Stones him forward. Corvus goes, plays Mothership, teleports in, throws his 5 dice strike, gets 4 damage on Strange. Strange places away with the Convocation Leadership. Then he throws a 4-die Atom Splitter at me and dazes Strange, and I was very sad because I placed out of range 2, and he still got me. Next turn, he has priority. He decides to go with Thanos first because with the positioning I was in, I was actually in kind of a provocative place for Corvus to try and get to and kill me with a single attack because he didn't have the power to deathblow me yet, and he didn't have the positioning to get 2 attacks on me with the way my leadership was going to work. So he activated Thanos first, put Strange in base contact with Corvus, and punched him for like 3 damage, I think. Strange goes to kill Corvus. Corvus plays Blood Despair and kills Strange in the middle of his activation. And so it's top of turn 2, my 1 activation, Strange killed himself basically, and I've dazed Corvus. Luckily, Ghost Rider decided to win the game and literally KO'd everyone on his team basically by himself, and I ended up winning the game. It was just a really awkward game to where Strange dies on top of 2, and you still end up winning. Game 2 was a really close, grindy game versus Wakanda Avengers. We played on Gamma and Alien Ship. I think I healed 20 damage that round. I did Circle the Seraphim with Strange. He healed like 3 or 4 damage off of his big spender. I played Patch Up for 5 on Ghost Rider. Wong healed, I think, 5 times. It was just crazy, the amount of damage I was removing from everybody. And then eventually the game that came down to I was going to lose on points because he was going to score to 17 if I didn't kill Toad. But I killed Toad, which was his last model, and so he was tabled, and I won 11-15, which was really awkward because we couldn't record it in the tournament software because it was always applying him as the winner, so we had to doctor it to get it in there right. Round 3, I played against I played against Nick Fury Shield with Hulkbuster in the list, which was crazy. I asked him at deployment, who's your leader? And he looked down and goes, oh shit, I have 3 leaders, and they're all leaders in this list. Because he had Sam, Nick Fury, and Hulkbuster, and then Bucky and Black Widow were his other 2 models. He was just like, what the fuck, man? Like, any of this is legal. And so that was kind of funny. I just couldn't keep up with his damage. I set up to kill Hulkbuster with Strange and Blade, and he just one-shotted Strange with his first attack, and so I was like, well, that sucks, and so I guess I can't do this round. Go to do it the next round. Strange activates. I play Book of Cagliostro. He actually gets to activate twice on round 3. And then on round 4, again, he dies before I get a turn, which was just really sad. I ended up losing that game 11-17, I think. I just couldn't keep up. He was just basically one-shotting everyone he attacked, and I wasn't able to leverage my characters well enough to come back from the hole. Last round, I played against Steve and Sam. He was using Steve's leadership, and he had Hulk. It was actually kind of an interesting game because I was telling them earlier, I made an attack roll where Voodoo accidentally Daze Steve. He threw a 5-die attack into Hulk. Steve bodyguards it, blanks out, and I roll 5 hits on my Spirit Venom and just KO Steve or Daze Steve in the middle of my early in the turn, and I ended up losing priority because of it, and it was super brutal. I had Strange with 3 hammers, ended up getting dazed before he got to go because I lost priority. And then Hulk picks up all 3 of the hammers. And I'm like, well, this game got real complicated real fast. This was supposed to be super easy, and now it is very difficult. Luckily, I was able to use Voodoo to come back, because Voodoo just went last and made Hulk drop all of his hammers. I ended up going 3-1. I got 3rd place. It was super fun. All of my games were super thought-provoking and complicated. And so that was the first time I've gotten to a tournament where it wasn't just like, okay, well, this game is basically over on turn 3. Every game was like coming down to the wire. Every decision mattered. And it was super intense all weekend, which was a lot of fun. I got to see Tim from St. Louis and Stu from St. Louis and Brent from Arkansas. I got to hang out with them all weekend, which was really fun.
I have 2 questions for you.
Yep.
One, Voodoo has kind of been a boogeyman locally. I think a lot in terms of theory as opposed to actual play. Now that you've been able to play him a lot more in a competitive sense, is he broken and in need of a nerf, or is he relatively strong but balanced?
I have played him in 4 games. 3 of those games I probably would have lost without him on the table. He is noticeably more impactful than a normal 4-pointer. And a lot of those times have come because we're doing a multiple extract mission, and those missions tend to be really volatile. I don't know how you play against hammers when your opponent has Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, and Voodoo. I literally don't know the answer to win that game when your opponent has those 3 models in play. I think you just lose that mission because you have no way to maintain onus over the extracts. Because Ghost Rider and Strange can just go basically delete whoever they want. And if there is someone that can actually survive them, then Voodoo just makes them drop it anyway. And then there's no interaction from that point on. It's like you have to go through all the hoops and everything to get the hammers, just so you're forced to drop them and never get to attack. My opponent made 1 attack the entire game where he got to use a hammer, and it was when Steve picked up the close hammer and then threw a shield throw once, got to use the extra die from a hammer. And from then on, even though I kept dropping them, he never got to use them.
Okay.
And so basically my characters just get +1 to 3 dice of attack rolls, and his don't. And I score a bunch of extra points.
A second question. I know you wanted to use Blade in this list to throw him forward and get work done. How has that worked out?
It's been pretty good. Every time I attacked with Blade at the tournament, people went, Jesus, that guy does a lot of damage. I'm like, yeah, he's pretty good. And I talked about it at length after the event, and I was like, yeah, I don't understand why people don't play this guy in Convocation. He seems insane. He seems to do the damage of a 5-pointer, just straight up. And he's, being one of the most resilient models in the list because he's 4-die physical plus rerolls almost always. He has the equivalent of a 6-die physical defense. And he heals a lot because he's got he bleeds everybody he attacks.
Yep.
It seems like with the leadership, you can keep him alive. That's usually his problem, is you can kill him normally, but...
Yeah. It also helps him get in position to attack.
Mm-hmm.
I used to duct tape Clea to him because I thought I needed the place 2 to get in range. And the better logic I've been discovering lately is that I can just use Strange if I have to get him into the right spot. And... instead of Clea, I can take Mordo. So when he goes in to do his Knight of the Dampier, Mordo can kick in an extra 2 dice. So it's a 9-die attack with full rerolls, and then he gets to advance afterwards. But if he stays there, he ends up healing the damage from Mordo anyway because he's, Blade.
I really like it. I really like that when he bleeds people, if they're dazed and bleeding, he still just gets to heal in a power.
Yeah, because they're in range. Yeah.
I have seen the nightmare where Blade was hanging around 3 people who were all bleeding, and he's just
healing factor 3.
Yeah,
it's better than that because he also just gets 3 power, and you're like, that's annoying.
Yeah, and 3 power. Yes, it's feels bad, man.
Last question: were there any tactics card combos or synergies between 2 characters that you hadn't really seen before and thought was interesting that you saw at the tournament?
Now that you say that, what was it? I want to say there was one I noticed that I hadn't thought about previously that, but I'm not going to be able to remember it, I think. I saw Vibranium Shielding used, which I was surprised that he had, but clearly this guy was super well practiced. I think this was one of the front runners to win the tournament. I played him in round 2. He beat Tim in round 1. And Tim was playing his Web Warriors list he's pretty practiced with, so I knew that he knew what he was doing. And I got Wakanda on Gam is always like a fucking question mark. And he almost beat me. He was really close, and I think I had a couple things kind of go my way. So yeah, I guess Vibranium Shielding's the only one I can recall offhand that was like, oh yeah, that's definitely gone up in stock lately. But yeah, I don't think there's anything particularly surprising.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, let's get into our main topic today. We're going to be rating the Criminal Syndicate. So these are going to be the characters we have not yet rated. We have on the list Bullseye, Shadowlands Daredevil, Taskmaster, Black Cat, Hood, Kingpin, and Elektra are the characters we have not yet rated from Criminals. I also have the Hand Ninjas on here. I'm not sure how we're going to tackle this. I would like to have a quick discussion about it. How should we rate the Hand Ninjas, or should we even bother because they're a minion or they're a grunt?
Well, since there is now, we know there's going to be like a fairly amount of variability amongst grunts.
3
right?
at the minimum, right?
Yeah, and some of them do red, some of them do blues, some of them disappear a lot, some of them are going to stick around for a long time. Like there is something to be said about it.
But you can never take them outside of the parent, so I think they're tied at the hip there.
Yeah,
but I don't know if we should rate them like that way when we're talking about the characters. Like, well, they're a good 4-pointer, but they have like an 8 grunt, so maybe we should like talk about it like, oh, that was one thing that did catch me. I forgot that the shield grunts, got to pick up an objective when they land, and that really cost me in the 3rd round. If it wasn't for that, I might have been able to pull that game out.
But for example, like I do not want to rate up Elektra because she can summon a Hand Ninja. Because Elektra by herself, if you would talk about on Arnold merits, is garbage fire. So, like, that's one of the reasons why I'd like to rate the Hand Ninjas. Now, when you go to the overall score,
we'll just go through after a while and rate all the grunts individually as a separate package.
Maybe.
But yeah, like you're saying, like it doesn't. I don't think we should. I think we have to rate the character assuming the grunt is there, right? Mm-hmm. Like the combination of the effects.
Because a lot of their effects actually say, if grunt is there, do something.
Right, exactly. They're in required synergy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll just go through and rate the grunts individually later. I was just want to make sure we were clear on talking about that. So we will not actually rate the Hand Ninjas, but we will, obviously be aware that they exist.
There goes my 10.
All right, so going in order, Jeremy, why don't you pick one of the criminals for us to rate?
Let's go with the good old leader, Kingpin.
You said good old leader. I was like, oh boy, where are we going? All right, so people at home, if you want, go ahead and take a second to refresh yourself on Kingpin's card. We're not going to go over any of these because they've been out for a while. So, offense for Kingpin. As far as pure damage potential, he's not huge, but he's got some solid damage abilities. Personally, I think the throw is usually used more of as a board control effect, but he can throw stuff into people, and he's got a cheap spender.
His spender's one of the best things.
Yeah, but not necessarily just because of the damage potential. But like he's not blowing people up, but he's got definitely some good attacks.
His damage output is that of a 3.
Of a 3-pointer or a 3 out of 10?
A 3-pointer.
Okay. I think he's a little better than a 3-pointer. But yeah, I would probably open the bidding at a 6.
I was going to say, he actually has very similar attacks to Red Guardian, like we talked to today. Like
that's true.
It's a very similar kind of bit. I think he is. I agree with Aaron. I think he is, in terms of offensive output, he feels like a 3-pointer even though he's a 4-pointer. But
so has anybody else got a bid for me? I got a 6 out there floating.
I'm gonna say I'm rating the throw highly and saying a 5.
Okay,
I concur with the 5.
Jeremy.
The only reason I say I'll go 6 simply because of his ability to be able to make an attack almost every turn. 2 attacks. He's almost always getting action instead of getting dazed, but still low.
Jeremy, I'm sorry. I'm gonna turn code on you. I'm gonna drop down to a 5.
You
I
whore.
think Aaron sold me. I'm sorry.
You son of a bitch.
Abandoned ship.
Plus, Kingpin is
Strangely
being
listed.
controlled every turn, so you're never
Yeah,
getting both your
that's
attacks.
kind of what I'm
Yeah.
thinking about. Is he doesn't have the action economy, so while he can stand in a location, he does tend to have to move because all of his shit is short range.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I was thinking of kind of the same plan. I was like, well, he's always going to get to punch people, but it's like, actually, he's not invulnerable to control either. All right,
He's
so
got a cane laser.
the cane laser's what got me to a 6. It's like, he's got a legitimate energy beam that ignores line of sight and cover. Like, that's not trash. Like, that's good. But anyway, moving on. Defense. Well, this guy's got defense. I think a lot goes into, he's got obviously a very solid frame, but also he's got a unique rule saying that he is immune to being collided with by characters. That cuts a lot of damage potential out.
Mhm.
He's got that. He's got damage reduction. He's got tons of health.
He's got the best damage reduction. Not the cheapest, but the best. Only the finest things for Mr. Pin.
Mr. Pin.
So for defense, I think I have to give this guy. I mean, does anybody want to go first? I think Jeremy's technically supposed to rate first.
For defense, trying to get that son of a bitch off the table, like I'm gonna go with a.
He's a bastard and a half.
I'll go low. I'll say 7.
Okay,
Oh,
Parker.
I was gonna say the actual floor is 8. I think for him, he's yeah.
I think I agree with the 8.
yeah.
Aaron.
I was saying 8.5. If Juggernaut's a 10, I agree. Juggernaut is harder to remove than he is, but not by much.
Not by much. I wanted to give him a 9. I thought the floor was an 8, but
Yeah, thus my 8.5.
All right, so whole numbers only. Re-rating. Go again, Jeremy.
7.
He's holding firm at that 7.
Fuck you. 7.
Parker.
9.
You motherfucker.
I'm gonna go with an 8.
I'll go 9.
All right, 9987. I assume that rounds up to an 8.
Rounds down to an 8, actually.
8.25. 8s have it. Moving on, we have support. So he has a very good leadership. Arguably the best leadership in the entire game. It almost skewed the entire meta for a while. What else does he have? Nothing. Strong nothing.
Yeah, it's strong scenario support
I mean, objectives, he can pass them around. It's pretty stupid, too.
and
Not just
counting
his-
double is dumb.
No, yeah, his leadership's fucking crazy. So we gave Thor a 6 on support. So I think I'm comfortable saying 8 here. This guy's leadership is fucking crazy.
I would go
Oh.
8. 8's fine.
I actually thought 8 exactly because he this is awesome, like to support his faction's ability to manage scenarios, but he's not helping any one model in this faction. He's not really helping them. That's why I don't think he can go more than 8, but 8 seems appropriate.
Yeah, there's definitely room for improvement, but he's got a really high floor. Like, people don't put him in list because his stat block. They put him in list because of his leadership.
I've
Aaron,
considered him in
you
lists
played-
based off of defense and Hail to the King.
He's okay for 4 points, but that's not why he was, like, fucking in everybody's list for a while.
So that is true, yes. He was taken for the leadership, I agree. But I think that's meta-dependent. I don't think he is, I don't think he's even A tier right now. I'll go 6.
Jeremy, what'd you say?
8.
Making me fucking do math. 7.5 rounds up. 8's have it. Moving on, we have control. He's actually got some control. Alright, so we got a wild push, we have a damaging throw, and then we have a superpower throw.
Stagger and
Both up
stun.
to size 3. Everything up to size 3. He can also auto stagger, which is the best debuff.
And wild stun.
And wild stun. That's a lot of debuffing and controlling. So he can potentially throw 3 models, stagger one of them, and then push and stun another. That's pretty great.
Yep.
Jeremy, what's your number?
7.
Parker?
That was my number 2, 7.
I'm going 8.
You're wrong.
Well, I'm going to go 6.
You're wrong. Whoa.
So it all comes down to action economy for me. Every single thing that you want to do has to be within range 2.
That's
So
true.
his ability to affect control is highly reliant on him being where he needs to be. He's not like a Shuri who gets to stand back and just affect the board from where she wants to. So he's got great control, but he's got to be up close to use it, and that's not always going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. Although range isn't always the best defense, because some fast models will just come get you and you just die anyway.
Well, I didn't say defense. I said we're talking about control,
Yeah,
right?
applying your control to larger parts of the field, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's no Thanos, we know that. All right, so the average was 7. Moving on, I would say he's obviously a brute, right? Like his whole job is to get in there and tank it up with everybody. Anybody want to argue that he is a controller?
I think he's a brute.
Well, it depends. If you're using his leadership, you definitely aren't sending him forward.
Why not?
Because he will die. I've had him one shot before. So
I mean, dice happen. Everyone can die.
if your goal is to use the leadership to win, goal number 1 is don't let Kingpin die.
Okay, that's fair. Anyway, moving on. So our total numbers, we have a offense 5, defense 8, support 8, and control 7. He's a brute. Jeremy, give me an overall rating.
7.
Parker.
I'm gonna say 6.
6.
I'm gonna say 6, and I think it's a current score. If you would have let me score him 8 months ago, I think he would have gotten 8. I think he's dropped a lot, but that's my personal opinion.
How has his card changed? You're saying the things he has access to?
This is overall score, right? This is like how he.
It's
how
not
he
a
shakes out in the
popularity
game.
score. It's a power rating.
No, not popularity in the game. I
Okay.
mean, like overall, like in the game, right? I think there are so many more things, even in his faction, that you want to do now that have outscaled him. I think he's got a little
Medpack
bit.
is gone. Field dressing is gone.
Yeah, I think.
Okay,
he's-
yeah, if that's your argument, I agree with you. But if you're saying, well, there's another leader, so he's worse now, like he's not any
No.
worse.
No. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, precisely the banned and restricted, the way things have shifted around. I think he's 2 points. He would have been an 8, but I think he's now 6. That's my.
Okay. I'm giving him a 7.
I'm going to concur with Parker and give him a 6.
Parker or Jeremy, you said 7?
Yes.
7s have it. Boom. All right. Parker, you're up. Pick a character.
I want to do. Let's do one I'm really excited for. Benjamin Poindexter, Bullseye.
Oh boy.
Because you want to talk about a guy that has aged well. Is this guy? I'm
Yeah.
curious.
You mean doing completely revamps?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he didn't age. He got a growth pill.
Yeah. All right. Sell me on his offensive output.
can I start?
Do it.
Start. I think he has the word is exceptional offensive output. Not in that it goes like climbs up to the sky, but it's truly exceptional how much damage this guy will do over the course of the game that your opponent could do absolutely nothing about. The ability that I'm going to do an attack, it will do 1 damage is it's so hard to exactly codify how much that's worth, but it can be a whole game. And when your opponent doesn't daze him and he just does damage and walks away, it can be a whole game. I think I know there are lots of characters that can do chip damage, but he's the king of chip damage.
Yeah.
I think he is so strong. I know this isn't really the point to talk about points, but this kind of chip damage on a 2 points is so strong.
We're looking for a 10-second explanation. Just thank you though. That was good.
Did you give a number?
No,
I did not.
He didn't.
4.
Parker, it's your turn.
I'm gonna, because it's so exceptional, I'm gonna give him a big buff for that. I'm gonna say 6 because it's very exceptional.
I was gonna go to a 5, but you just talked me down to a 4. Fucking numbers creep bullshit up in
I
here.
see your 5, and I will raise you a 4.
Aaron.
I'm with Brandon. Yeah, he's good. He is not the definition of exceptional in Marvel Crisis Protocol. I think you're colored too much by his point value. But
Aaron,
eliminating
I'm just
that,
going to point out, if you vote a 4, he'll get a 5 because of Parker's crazy 6.
that is not my fault. It's still a 4.
Okay. So you want him to get a 5? Because if you give him a 3, he'll only get a 4.
Hey, you could have given him a -2. Don't throw this on me.
God damn it. I already came down 1. Damn it! Is it too late to change? Can I go down to a 3?
Survey says
I'm giving him a 4. Total. Is his maximum damage potential being like 3 is really what's holding him back. There's no question that the applying 1 damage to a random person is always great. But there's more and more characters with damage reduction that goes to 0 now. So that's relevant too. Like Thanos just doesn't give a shit usually about Bullseye. Isn't that right, Aaron?
Yeah, fuck you.
Thanos never cares about Bullseye. Alright, inside jokes. Moving on. Defense. This is definitely not his strong suit. However, he usually is in a good position defensively because he's a long-range character with hit and run. But also the fact that he has parting shot is basically don't attack me the rule. So I think he gets a lot of points for that. Jeremy, what's your number?
I mean, parting shot will bring him to a strong 4.
Parker?
He's so easily one-shotted. It's a 4.
I think I agree with that. He's so hard to justify putting an attack into for all the reasons we've listed, but he does not actually tend to die when he does get attacked though. So, Aaron,
I don't know how you guys. What's the floor in this game in our rating system? Because
so
he's got a 3-3-2 with 4 defense. Like that's a 1. There's no one worse in the game.
Far back. Oh no, there's worse. Wong is way worse. Wong is a 2-3-3 with 4s, and he's closer usually than Bullseye is, and has no special abilities on defense.
I'm gonna see what you gave Wong.
Did we even rate Wong?
No, not yet.
Yeah. Did we rate Nebula yet? That might be a good example.
So you gave Valkyrie a 3.
Yeah, because she has no defensive abilities, and she's just 3s. She's the generic stat block in the game, which is 3s with like 10 or 11.
And 6 health. Ebony Maw's a 2. Toad's a 2. Like, there's no way Bullseye gets to be a 4.
Okay.
He's on the same level as Gambit, Mystique? No, he's a 2.
I think I forgot that he only had... I think I forgot they lowered him to 4 health on each side. I was thinking he had 5.
Also, Ebony Maw was rated before he was changed.
That's why I didn't talk about
needs
Ebony,
to be
yeah.
Adjusted.
I was like, oh, hold on.
So yeah.
I definitely am listening to arguments. I'll come down to a...
I'm a 2.
3. You're a 2. All right, so we have... Are you guys both good with your 4s?
I'm
Yep.
good because it's a range model and for
Okay.
the quality of what you get for 2 points.
All right, so we have 2, 3, 4, 4. Average is a 3.25. Puts him at a 3. Moving on, support. He has none, so he gets a 1.
However, he often he performs the power battery role in Criminals very well. He gains power without having to do damage, and you're like, oh, what criminal model do I have to pay for? All according to plan. Guess what? It's Bullseye every time.
I mean, that's just because he's the worst power user in your list. That's not support.
I think it's great support.
He tends to actually spend a decent amount of his power unless you actively choose not to pay for cards.
It's a choice.
That's not a mechanic of the character.
It's a core mechanic of what he does in my list.
That's fair if you use him for that. Moving on, control. Applying bleed on a wild on your 4-die attack, I don't think is control. If so, everyone's a 2. Is anyone arguing against a 1 on control?
No.
No.
So let's see. He's a blaster. I think I'm okay with blasters. Anybody arguing against blaster? Okay. So everyone, we have a 2-pointer that's a 4-3-1-1 blaster. Let's give him a rating. Jeremy.
3.
Ooh, brutal. Parker.
I'm going to go nuts because I actually think he belongs in a ton of factions as a drop-in 2-pointer. If you're playing attrition, I think he should be up there with Nebula. I'm going to say a 7.
7?
Yeah. I think you should
insane.
be. I think you should be. I think if you're not considering him, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
Parker, or sorry, Jeremy, you said 3. We have a 7 from Parker. I'm going 4. I was on a 4. I think I was on a 5 before I heard Parker's insane arguments.
I love that you just as soon as you think I'm not going.
love
I'm not
going
going first
after
next
Parker
time.
for
I'm not
exactly
going
this
first
reason.
next time. You're just like trying to game the
All right,
average as
well,
hard as you
all
can.
right, you'll get a 0 on your next vote then.
So, are we rating them based
We're
on their
rating them
threat
on
value?
the power scale of the game. Yeah,
Right.
their threat value goes into it.
Oh, okay. So that's a huge difference because I agree with.
Yeah, so unlike
Parker.
the 4 normal numbers is in a vacuum of the entire game.
Okay.
And then the rating is like, what are the odds that this character should be considered in your list for, like, you're looking for a 2-point blaster. What are the odds you should consider this guy?
He's an 8.
Fucking crazy people. Fucking crazy people
Compared to
everywhere.
Rocket.
Yeah, no, that was really what I was comparing him against. So
Yeah.
he's gonna get a 6. See, I gotta rein you guys in. You give everyone a fucking 9. We'd be out of here in 3 minutes.
No, the top twos in the game are Bullseye and Toad, by far.
I'd be an interesting conversation to have one day. I'd like to get into rating the 2s all against each other one day.
Okay.
But anyway, that's a different day. Moving on, it's my turn. I get to pick a character. Hood! I like Hood. Hood's fun. Alright. Boop. Alright, offensive potential. This guy's so fucking crazy.
Jesus Christ.
I know, right? There's so much. It's looking at the
Wayne,
card on
Call
MCDB,
down
and
the
it's just
power
like
of God.
19 paragraphs. Yeah, like, holy fuck. Okay, obviously rapid fire models are good. His rapid fire is unique in that it's a mystic attack. Sweet. He's one of the few transformers in the game, and he has a fucking righteous spender attack. So Jeremy, what are you thinking for offensive potential? Now remember, this is average, not just like when he's got 10 power.
Yeah. Because of his variety, I think that gives him a leg up as well. I'm gonna go with I'll go low. I'll say a 7.
All right, even I wasn't gonna go. Okay, Parker.
I think I've played him a whole lot. Can we take this tactics card into this because this tactics card is
Hood's gang.
exactly for offense?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think when his tactics card is on, and because of his tactics
Well,
card,
Maybe we should count the tactics card more as
support.
support.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, because for him, the offense potential for him specifically won't count like the bonus added to other characters. But if you want to count the once per game reroll a single die kind of thing,
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't think for me that's enough to move it a whole number. But
No.
if you're like, I'm at a 7.9 and I want to call it an 8, that'd be fine, I think.
I think I would give him. I just never saw his damage being insane because he doesn't. On his backside, he has the action economy, but on his front side, he doesn't. So, and you don't get to decide what side he's on. You were told which side he's on.
You get a little bit, like sometimes you
little.
get forced, but usually you like, well, I'm just not going to transform because I know I need to be on the front.
I think it's a 6.
Okay. I'm going to put him at a 7 just because if your opponent doesn't play around his mechanics, he's going to get to do a silly amount of damage. So left to his own devices, I think he's at least a 7.
His potential is crazy.
His
Like, he's
potential
got-
is fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Mhm.
his potential's nuts.
But it's also the floor. Like, just because you can spike really high sometimes doesn't mean that that's what you're doing all the time. But yeah, I think 8's a bridge too far for me, but I think 7 I can see. This guy's scary. Like,
He has
real
an
scary
8
for a
strength
standpoint.
spender on a 3.
Yeah.
A 3 threat model with an 8 spender.
That does 2 damage splash. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've done 6 damage off of the arcs.
That's not normal, and you can count on that once a game.
Sure.
So if I look at him base, he's 4 dice rapid fire with a 6 dice spender. Okay, he flips, and he's got a 6 dice spender, 6 dice builder, which is really good, and then the obscene spender.
Mhm.
I was leaning towards a 5, but I guess I can give him a 6, just looking at those stats in a vacuum.
I think the mystical attacks on the front side is becoming more important to the game.
Hugely
Like, there's
important.
a lot of stuff that gets turned off by Mystic. And so I'm valuing even his rapid fire above average, and I think a rapid fire model is already like a 5 most of the time.
Yes. You
All right,
should have
so-
Mystic Attack in your list.
So we had 2 6s, 2 7s, so it's going to round up to a 7. Defense. This is going to be muddy. Jeremy, do you want to start? Do you want to talk about it first?
His big deal for defense, he's a weird one because usually people get one attack and then he transforms on you and then moves out of whatever's happening. So usually folks only get one attack into him. So including that, I mean, his stats kind of suck when it comes, except for his damage reduction on the backside. So he's a Bizarro, like, right?
Well,
Like,
his invisibility cloak means that he's going to get 3 dice with blanks, which is above average defense, but he has to spend 2 to do it.
mhm. So I mean, he has options, he has things, and he is more exceptional than most 3-pointers when it comes to defense. I don't know. I'm gonna call it a 6. Feels good.
Parker?
I love Invisibility Cloak. I think it's fantastic. The fact that he even also works on dodges is such a surprise and like kept him alive in terrible situations. And then on his backside, the DR2. It's weird. It doesn't say anywhere on him, but he is a fantastic anti-throw character. Like he just doesn't take damage to throws. It's so weird. And then he might not take damage to other things. So I really like that. It just puts him above average though, because his health pool is low and his dice aren't huge pools. So I'd say, I'd probably say I want to say 5.
So if the average in the game is 3s across the board with 10 or 11 hit points, he's definitely an order of magnitude above that. I really want to give him a 6, but he can just get one-shotted, even through Invisibility Cloak, or if you catch him without power, which is hard to do on the front side because he's almost guaranteed to have it unless he dumps all his power into Black Arts. I really want to give him a 6, so I think I'm going to, but I think 5 is probably more accurate.
I give him a 5. Even if he's not one shot on the front, if you leave him on 1 health, the DR2 does nothing for you. So I can't explain how many times that's happened. So yeah.
Well, also like the DR, like how relevant is DR2 when you only roll 2 defense dice? Like sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's completely irrelevant because you just like eat 3 to the face anyway because you didn't roll any blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you talked me down to a 6, so I think we're gonna give him a 6. There's too many times he just dies to 2 attacks, which is pretty standard for a model.
You said 6. Do you mean down to a 5?
Yeah, sorry. He's taught me down to a 5, so our average is gonna be 6. Wait, no, average is gonna be a 5.
Mm-hmm. Like the average 18.
I'm just hearing a lot of numbers. Anyway, support. So this is when the rest of Hood's gang kicks in, and his healing ability. And I put him in the list just because he's one of the best healers in the game.
Now that Medpack is gone, he is a staple for, I don't know, 75% of the list these days? I mean, really?
Yeah. He seems to be the early reach for when you need an attrition 3-pointer, which is more important now than it has ever been.
So now he has both. He's attrition and he can heal. I mean, that heal piece is a big deal. I don't know how many clicks up on the ladder he gets for that one, but I don't know. 5. He doesn't throw anybody. He doesn't move anyone. But I mean, shit, man. He takes away an attack, essentially. Something you did. He just stops it.
Wait, are we doing... I thought we were doing support right now. We're doing control?
Support. No, we're doing support.
Yeah, I was going to say, the fact that thing costs nothing, Hood's Gang costs nothing, is so... It can be so ball-busting.
Costs a tactic slot.
It's a tactic slot, but I think it's a fantastic tactic slot. If you told me my faction, out of faction... Or any faction, as long as you put in a good support model, also gets a reroll on 1 turn. I think it's...
The big problem is that you have to go with Hood basically first, and he has to be on the human side. Means that people who know how to play around it can put early attacks into him, and you basically can't transform. And so that kind of puts some weight on it. But yeah, it's very good.
I've seen... I after playing him on top of 2, you play that, and because he has rapid fire, he often has 6 power on that turn too. So you could do that and follow me. It didn't cost you anything, and you just got fully. He got his own reroll while shooting his guns. Then he got 6 power, and now he could just do follow me immediately. It's a really nice if you want to just have the initiative and do a bunch. I think it's fantastic support. The fact that he has so much power also lets him play other expensive tactical cards. I love it. Can we give a number?
Yeah, I'm waiting on you guys. He already gave a number.
I'm going to give him 8. I think he has a really fantastic support
8
suite.
Support.
Yeah, and I didn't even talk about the heal. I haven't even talked about the heal. It's.
You think Hood's Gang's worth 8?
No, the whole package. But you guys talked about the heal, so I talked about Hood's Gang.
Okay, so you're not going to talk about the heal, but it's included in your number. Okay,
yes.
I was about to fucking scream.
No. Yeah.
All right, so we have a 5 and an 8. Oh god, I was originally going to say 5. or 6, but I think I'm going down to a 5.
I give it a 7.
Oh my
I-
God, you
I like the
fucking
heel.
psychotic.
No, the
People.
heel is incredible.
Heel's
I
huge.
use
Absolutely
it once
huge.
a game. So usually, I mean, Hood's in like every single list I run. So I got a lot of games with Hood. Hood's
Like
game.
how important was Medpack? Because he's literally just Medpack as support and then more stuff.
Obviously good, but there's an opportunity cost with Hood, right? So you've got to be able to play him in the right spot so he doesn't die. You've got to gain power, which means you can't use Invisibility Cloak. So it's a lot more difficult to use than Medpack. It has to be on his activation, not someone else. So there's a lot of caveats. So he's not like he's just, I always have heal on demand. It's a very conditional heal that can be great, and I usually use it at least once a game. I agree with what both of you said about Hood's game. There are times when it can just win the game, because I'm getting double rerolls turn 2, I own the world. And there are games when I can't ever find a time to play it, because I can't ever afford to go with Hood first, or he's in the wrong side. So it is usually the 5th or 6th tactics card in my set of 5, meaning sometimes it makes my actual squad, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, that gives him a 6 total. We're running a little slow on time, so we should speed this up a bit. Control, he doesn't really have any other than randomly applying bleed. So that's going to be a 1. What class is Hood? I feel like he just played every class in D&D, so.
He's support.
He's a bard, right?
You think he's support?
Yes.
Demon.
He's a warlock if we're doing D&D, but I don't think warlock fits into our archetypes.
Can warlocks heal? Is that a thing?
They have like a black art heal where they do a negative effect to heal people.
There you go.
I think Blaster is where I want to put him, but I think Aaron has a strong point with support. But there's no support. It would be Defender would be the name of the class, which would be fine. All right, so who thinks Blaster? Anybody but me? All right,
I
that's a
do.
no.
I think
All right.
offensive comes out
Okay.
the gate first.
Mhm.
I
you
think
can't get-
offense is his primary
If you
focus.
can't get offense going, you're not going to be able to do any of the defensive cool shit anyway.
Parker, do you have an opinion?
For overall mouthfeel? Are we
No,
doing-
for class. No, we're doing class.
Oh,
You haven't said
no,
anything.
Blaster. Yeah, I said Blaster.
Blaster, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say anything. Or we didn't hear you, one of the two. You might have cut out. All right, so overall rating. Jeremy, go.
7.
Parker.
He's top shelf. I think his floor, I'm going to say 8 because of what he does. He's so good in so many lists. 8.
Completely agree. 8.
You guys are so fucking wrong. He's a 10. He's the only 10 in the game. And I'm
He's
serious.
the only 10 in the game.
I am serious about that. When you're looking at models for their point cost, there is probably no list in the game that could not take Hood and be better for it. For all the reasons you mentioned. We're either rapid firing, we're healing ourselves, or we're either putting out an super dark lightning.
He is a fairly mediocre early game character. Because he needs power to do his stuff.
But he moves once and he has power.
I mean, if there's people there. There's not always people there.
Well, you got to set him up correctly, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
and what you said, having a mystic rapid fire attack is so invaluable in today's meta. Oh, you
So,
have Cap, you have
How about this?
Black Panther.
I think the argument that he could be a 10 in my mind is that he has no niche. He is the book, right? He does everything you always want to do and not that weird niche stuff Voodoo is sometimes the best character and Black Hat is sometimes the best character and he's always very good. He has a floor of a 5 in every game. He's always valuable. I think would be the argument in my mind.
That he
You
could
stick
be a
with
10.
your rating, but he's a 10 for me.
Oh, what does it even matter if I come up? If I go up to a 9, I think he gets a 9.
Honestly, I could agree. In this conversation we're having right now, I realized I was I really need to make space for him in my Inhumans list because Inhumans can pass him a power, and now all of his stuff becomes more live. He doesn't have I can't think of an affiliation in which you're upset about him in, and I don't
Alright.
think there's another model in the game like that.
So, Aaron, you're saying that he is the best 3-pointer in the entire game.
No, he is the most well-rounded three-pointer in the entire game that can fit into every list and should be considered in every list.
Okay, so you're saying as just a blind vacuum, assuming you're not trying to do a specific thing, he's the best.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. With that argument of being the best 3-pointer in a vacuum, I think that's worth being a 9. So I'm fine with that. All right. So I'll go up to a 9. He gets a 9 on average. I think Parker was about there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Aaron, you're up. You get to pick the next character.
Let's do Shadowlands.
I've already selected that one. How odd.
How odd.
All right, Aaron, tell us about why he gets a whatever on offense.
Okay. He does piddling offense, to be honest. Not talking about threat. 5 dice builder, 4 dice that you only use for pursuit because it's ranged 4, and then the only thing he really does is Demon's Devastation. 3 dice, 7 turns into a 9 if you've got ninjas. I mean, meh, right? He's
That's
piddling.
That's pretty solid.
He's not bad.
Primarily,
but
it's the mobility he gets off of his baton strike.
Yep.
Why the fuck is that an automatic pursuit? Why isn't that like on damage or on hit or something?
because otherwise it'd just be really bad as opposed to the niche play it is right now.
It's not very niche. It's literally used every single game to great effects.
Okay. I need to get good.
Okay.
Rating, he's going to be a 6, taking into account Demon's Devastation and the ninjas.
Are you counting all the attacks the ninjas make too?
Um,
That's a lot of extra attacks.
If we're rating like an extra 4-die attack highly, then Crystal's going to be a huge offensive value because that's all she does. And I don't think that
She gets well. It's not that because he's getting the full premium normal attack of a regular character, and then he's getting on top of that the ninja attack in addition to what he normally does. And then if he gets to do his spender, then he's getting the extra 2 dice and all the other stuff too. I guess they don't get to attack normally. They only attack when you place them.
yeah.
correct.
Okay.
So recently playing him, it's been hard to get really good use out of him because people have been pretty good about not letting me start within 2 to coordinate a strike, spawn the ninjas, they attack, then I Demon's Devastate. I've very rarely gotten that combo off.
I thought the Mystic was an AoE too.
That's on the backside.
You can spend to make it AoE on the back.
Oh, okay. That's where I was missing. Gotcha. I was like, I could have sworn you did an AoE 2 Mystic attack against me.
Yeah, I'm still
That
going to
makes
stick
sense.
at a 6, even with the grunts.
Man. Okay. Parker, Jeremy, cheer up.
I like the 6 actually a lot. I think he's definitely better than the average character, but he's not over the top with it.
We're including his leadership. Like that's what.
Well, it's his personal damage, not the damage he has to his list. So yeah, he's always going to have his leadership bonus. Well, not always, actually.
Mm-hmm.
A good amount of time.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe you're taking him without him being the leader on a regular basis. It seems pretty rare.
Including the ninjas, including him. He can place himself in a position that's good. He's got a good tactics card that's straight up offensive. The ninjas plus everything else that they've got. His potential is like really high. Like I hear the 6. I'm gonna go 7 just because I can't believe it.
Parker, what'd you say?
I said a 6.
I gotta go with the 7 as well. I think the amount of attacks he gets in an average game is the amount of damage he's going to inflict is going to be definitely above average, like noticeably above average is the way I feel at least. Like he's not like a MODOK, but he's getting pretty close. I think. So 7 on offense, defense. Jeremy.
He has stealth, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So stealth and his
And he's got the vibranium armor
Yeah.
that Black Panther has.
At range 3, that's awesome.
At what?
It goes up to range 3, so it's not martial artist, right?
No, there's no range. It's just against physical and energy.
Yeah.
He adds blanks.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right.
6 health on the front, right? He's a 4. Yeah.
He's a 6/7. Yeah, 13 hit points.
Oh Lord, he has 7 on the back.
He's beefy.
Yeah, that's real good. 6.
Yeah, I guess he's only 3s. Oh no, he's 4/3/3, then 3/3/4. I didn't realize his defensive stats changed.
Mm-hmm.
Parker, waiting on you.
I like him for his defense a lot. I feel he's so 7. I feel like he's very difficult to remove. I've only seen him removed once in all my games. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say 7 as well. Mainly it's for the non-mystic defense. 4s with blanks plus stealth is a lot on the front side.
It's a lot on paper. I've probably just been unlucky, but he seems to take a lot of damage when I play him. his 2 attacks are range 2, so stealth is usually pertinent turn 1 of the
Yeah.
game, and then rarely
Well,
after.
Was it the only thing he doesn't have though is damage reduction? Like he's above average on hit points. He's got blanks. He's got stealth.
Yeah.
He's got about an average defensive stat line.
I think my problem is he should be super tanky, right, when you look at everything. But super tanky can die just as easy depending on dice, so...
Yeah. Well, I think a
but-
lot of the time you can also position him in cover, and so it's blanks plus mod 1 to a block, so that way even one of your hits is blocking. It's pretty consistent.
I'll go 7.
7 it is. Moving on to support. Jeremy.
His support is offense, but that doesn't really count for support.
Support's pretty much just his leadership, and I guess whatever you want to count the grunts giving for scenario relevance.
2.
I think the grunts are more than 2, but
I counted all that towards offense. I don't know.
The grunts have
Well, no,
no
like the ability
scenario
for their-
relevance.
have no scenario relevance.
The only scenario relevance they have is researcher. And
They can't. They
picking
can
up
pick stuff up. Yeah.
up an extract and sending it over to Bucky turn 1, so Bucky can save a power.
They can pick up one of the middle point ones.
And die? Sure.
Maybe die, but if they die, then your opponent isn't picking it up usually. So
Well, then your opponent is getting 2 power off of killing them and placing it closer to where they're at.
if they kill you,
You're right.
I'll go to a 3.
I'm a 2.
Yeah, I'm a 2.
wow, really? So you think that criminals with Shaolin as Daredevil are just bad? Like I don't understand.
No, I just
So
go ahead.
If he's only a 6 for damage and his support is that bad, then why do people play him? That doesn't even make sense.
They play him with models that they're already good models. He is supporting them, but it's just a tiny bit of help, really. They're taking models that are already a 6 or 7 and turns them into like an 8.
Yeah,
I think just having the grunt on some missions is like support 5, like just straight up. Like on the worthy mission alone, it basically means you end up with 3 of the hammers, and there's not a whole lot your opponent can do about it. First turn, Daredevil and the grunt pick up the 2 flanking points. If they move up and kill the grunt, there's very few models in the game that can also pick up the hammer in that situation, and then you just move another model up and pick it up. So you end up with 2 of them unless they daze the grunt and a whole nother character, and then you get your back point. Now admittedly it's only one of the missions, but like that's hugely relevant to me because this seems like one of the missions that they're clearly playing, so it matters in more than a third of your games probably.
So I think the better hammers play is for the grunts to pick up the hammer, toss
The
it to
back one?
Bucky. The back one, yes. And then Bucky gets to get R&D
Move
to
and shoot
power.
twice maybe.
He gets R&D to power, and now he's Hydra tacticsing with his 2 power to quad shot with the hammer turn 1.
Yeah, if they move to the middle.
Bucky can do it from the side too, because the grunts can pass to range 3 away, so you can make it to where Bucky
Oh,
can...
they pass range 3?
Yeah. So Bucky
Oh.
can target, let's say, the right hammer if the opponent goes for it, and then Daredevil takes the left. So Daredevil takes the left, grunts pass to Bucky, and Bucky targets the right.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's a tactics card though. It's pretty expensive gimmick, but it can work.
The tactics card, hot garbage. So if we're including the offensive potential of the leadership as support, then he goes up to like an 8. It's
Yeah, that's what we were
unreal.
talking about.
okay. Then yeah, scratch my 3, go to an 8.
Okay. All right, Jeremy, what did you say? Do you remember?
I moved to a 3.
3. Parker.
They gave
Grunts plus leadership, and then
yeah.
anything else he does.
I think it's 7.
Okay. I'm saying 6. So we have 6, 7, 8, and 3.
I'm going to move up to a 6, being that they completely removed X-Force from an actual hit.
Okay. So that's going to put us at rounding up to a 7. For me, it's about a 50-50 split of the grunts and the leadership. I think the leadership is good, but I think it's heavily overrated by people. It is literally half of an extra damage on attacks that when it triggers, which is good. Like, it's obviously very good for something that doesn't cost power. But yeah, for me, the tempo that grunts give you in a game is absolutely insane. I think they're just so powerful. Moving on to control, he doesn't do any control, right?
Nope.
No control at all. He's a
0.
1. Moving on to, is he a scrapper or is he a skirmisher? Scrappers are more damage focused, so I'd imagine that'd be it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Overall rating, Jeremy, go. 777, 1 Scrapper.
7.
Parker.
He single-handedly like overhauled a faction's identity, and that's so amazing.
In his defense, I don't think that's actually true. The faction had been getting a lot of those characters for a long time.
Yes.
And just nobody cared because Kingpin was their leader.
Right, because he enabled them, right?
Yeah.
He validated my sin list. He invalidated the faction X-Force, affiliation X-Force. I think it is so hard to put him in anything lower than probably an 8. I think he's an 8, and I don't think you can actually do 9 or 10 actually for him because by himself I don't know if he's that awesome. But man, as a leader of his own affiliation, one of the prime affiliations of the game, neat.
I'm in such a tough spot here. I absolutely hate this guy. I wish he didn't exist, but not because I think he's overpowered. I just think he's really annoying, and he's clearly pushed. I don't know what to give him, so I'm just gonna say 7.
I agree. He's interesting because he is good in one very specific list, right? Him, leadership, rapid fire, ship it.
Yeah.
You don't
But
splash
it's
him
only,
anywhere else. Like,
yeah,
he's
it's
not
only
great.
good because rapid fire is overpowered. Like they took things that were already really strong, which was go wide rapid fire lists, and then just added a leader that does exactly that.
You are correct.
And it's like, fuck.
So in a vacuum, he is not even good. He's probably directly at the median of a bell curve. But when you add him with those models and you put them together in your leadership, and you comes out and it's this, like top shelf martini. So I'll go 7 overall. But clearly it's a 5 or a 10 depending on how you view him.
All right, that gives him a 7. All right, moving on. Jeremy, you get to pick again.
I get to pick again?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is so much picking. Whew. Oh, those are what's left?
Yeah, it's real not good.
Ooh.
There's definitely one of the most interesting characters in the affiliation, and then
All right, well,
everybody
I'm not
else is
picking
trash.
either of those two. I'm going to go with Black Cat.
Oh, okay. So we're now entering the lightning round. At this point, we're just asking for numbers because these are mostly legacy models. All right, Jeremy, give me an offensive number for Black Cat.
5.
Huh? Okay.
I don't know. It's probably more like a 3.
Give me a real number. Come on.
3. You told me fucking lightning round. I didn't even think about it.
I didn't think about it. Well, then don't give a number. Just say pass.
Lightning.
Parker.
4.
3.
3.
She got claws.
All right, 3s have it. Defense.
4.
Parker.
4.
4.
Stealth and bad luck, it's a 5.
4 it is. Moving on. Support. We talked about this before. Stealing objectives we landed on as a control effect, correct?
Yeah.
Because it directly affects enemies. Okay.
It also relies upon your enemies to like be in a position for you to do it. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a tempo thing, so it's control.
Mhm.
So support, she has none.
Yeah, 1.
Moving on. Control. How important is stealing an objective and applying stagger at will? 10. 10 and a half.
Literally the only reason you take her. So a 10.
Is it really a 10? It's, god damn it.
But there's some situations when it's completely worthless. I think it's a 9 because when it is worth it, it's amazing. But when it's not worth it, it doesn't do anything. Like there will be situations in which playing Black Cat is absolutely the wrong answer. I don't know if there's a situation in which taking amazing, like
until they nerf it, I think I'm going to agree with a 9.
Okay.
So we have 2 10s and 2 9s. Oh my god.
I'll go to a 9. Give her a 9.
Okay.
I'm going to a 12.
Jeremy's vote doesn't count, so it's 9 unanimous. Moving on. She's a skirmisher. She's a 3-4-1-9 skirmisher for 3 points. Jeremy, hit me with a rating.
Ooh, 6.
Parker.
I think she's way overrated. She's just a boogeyman sometimes. So I'm going to say a 7 because she's fucked me personally before. Just the model.
What an argument!
Because the model on the board won the game by herself. I was like, she is a 6, but I think she can be. She's a 7. Yeah, 7.
I'm going to give her an 8 because she is clearly a broken mechanic that's not supposed to exist in the game, and the devs have shown us this by eradicating the other models that had this exact ability. They need to fix it because it's a huge negative play experience that invalidates one huge selection of our missions, and until she gets fixed, those missions will never get played. Aaron.
7.
7s have it. She is a 7. Parker, you're up.
Let's go ahead and go with my girl, Electra.
Oh my god. Now I have to read. I have no idea what this character does.
I think you already answered your question. She
I just
doesn't do
remember
anything.
badness. Yeah, I just remember she was terrible.
Show me
All
on
right.
the card where she touched it.
She didn't. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy, go. Offense.
There's no way to know.
Bro, she has an 8-die attack. How could she be bad?
It's a 10 die. It's a 10 die
With her
attack.
0 power generation
What happens
as
if
a
it's
5
never-
cost attack.
She's never attacked.
If it's what's weird is if you actually just measured her attacks and didn't read any of her card, if you just put your hands on all the rest of the
You'd be like,
cards-
oh, this
cards-
character's got to be
the-
like, I don't know,
yeah,
like a 7 or an 8.
yeah, 7
Yeah.
or an 8 because these look like Pierce, ranged Mystic with and then a
And,
10
summon a minion.
Yeah, and then 10 and then he attacks and then 10 dice with the vision, don't add crits, can't add crits, and then you move
Mhm.
afterwards. My god, this has got to be a fantastic character. And then you read the rest of the cards like, oh shit.
Jeremy, number. I need
It
number.
seems like she could do like a fucking 7.
Jeremy, are you just saying a number?
Carpet.
Parker, go.
Uh,
Jeremy doesn't want to rate anymore, I guess.
I'm gonna say like directly between like her potential and her non-potential, and say 6.
I'll also say 6.
Why not? Same.
Okay, 6s have it. Moving on, we have defense. This is definitely her best stat because she's got martial prowess.
And stealth.
She gets-
She's got martial prowess and
Oh,
stealth.
boy.
That's not nothing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Good thing she never has to get within range 3 of people.
She has to get within range of 1 of
4.
people. Mhm.
Which, fun fact, is 1/6 of range 3. Jeremy, do you have a defensive rating for us?
I said 4.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yep.
Parker.
I'll say 4 also.
So martial prowess and on a character that barely generates power, and then stealth is worth +1.
That's what I think.
Yes.
Martial prowess is barely countable because she doesn't even want to
Yeah,
spend
she-
the power when she has it.
Yeah,
on
she
martial
never wants to
prowess.
spend it, and she's I don't know. She gets a 3 from me.
I'm actually going to deduct 1 from martial prowess because it tricks you into spending power when you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, I would assume anyone wanting... Actually, I take that back. Anyone intentionally playing Electra, there's a decent chance they don't know that she's terrible.
I give
But I
her-
think people that play her more than 3 games, I think there is something here. It's just nothing I want to find out.
I give her a 4.
All right. So she rounds up to a 4. Support. So what are hand ninjas worth? 3?
Yeah.
Without rerolls, they're worth like
Just
2
the
or
hand
1.
ninjas, yeah. Well, it's also like the tempo, the scenario stuff. Like,
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, clearly you need them to ninja vanish just so that she can fucking afford to attack somebody later in the game instead of picking up an objective.
Yeah, I'll say 3. Like she's
Yeah.
a 3 total.
Just for the value of picking up an objective marker and running directly to your table edge, that's worth 3 support to me. Like, even if the character never does anything but pick up the objective and stand there.
Mm-hmm. I
All right.
agree.
Anybody against a 3?
3 sounds great.
Control. I see no control on her card. Am I missing anything?
Bleed is not
She's
control.
out
so
of
yeah.
control.
Yeah. She's a skirmisher. Jeremy, give me an overall rating.
3.
What's 3? Parker?
2.
Oh, we got to do it now.
Are you gonna dumpster her? Give her a
I'm
1.
going to dumpster. I'll give her a 1. But it's not a 1 because I don't think her kit functions at all. I just, I don't know why I would want to. Like, if she was the only way to get hand ninjas, I'm on board. If this is what a 4-point character is supposed to look like when they have a grunt, I agree.
There you
But-
go. Yeah.
Then they printed Shadowlands Daredevil, which invalidates that argument. And so now it's okay to be an above average 4-pointer and have a grunt. Then this character shouldn't exist in our game, let alone be in the same box as Shadowland Daredevil. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This was like when they printed Storm and Cyclops in the same box. I'm just as confused. I don't know what you want me to do with this. So she gets a 1.
So I'm tempted to make her work, but until such things happen, it's a 1.
Ooh.
Is that your next challenge?
Not the next
she
one, but maybe.
barely rounds up to a 2.
Oh, thank God.
Sick. All right, I'm choosing Taskmaster. It's a good choice, don't ask. Jeremy, do you have an offensive number for Taskmaster? If you're not ready, just say pass. We'll come back to you.
6.
Parker?
I was actually going to say 5. I think he's totally middling on offense.
Trying to see if... I think he has to get a 5. His spender is amazing, and then shield throw is solid.
He suffers from
But
what
yeah,
Kingpin
he
does.
just
Same
he
shit.
doesn't have the action economy to get there and make
Yeah.
the attacks over and over again. He is really good about getting to a point and then throwing shields at people until they get pissed off and attack you. He's really good at that.
Yeah.
So
Nobody runs up and goes, all right, now Taskmaster, attack me.
yeah. His spender is legit. Aaron. The not modding defense dice is really what gets people. Nobody expects that shit.
So that's very situational, right? Hopefully you're going to be
Mhm.
able to place him against someone who likes to reroll their defense dice.
Yeah.
Or into Web Warriors, etc.
Or just that has a high physical. Like he has a 2-cost 9-die spender into Carnage. That's pretty fun.
Well, okay, yeah, sure. One model in the game with a 5, so it's usually a 7 or an 8. 2
There's a
cost
lot
for
of
7 or
4s
8 is
though.
really good.
Yeah.
Range 2 sucks.
That is the problem.
I'll give him a 6.
Ooh. Give him more than I did. So he's going to round up to a 6. Defense. This is kind of his stat, which is kind of sad, but so he gets martial arts. He has +2 dice when defending against the same target for the second time. And then he can spend 2 to counterattack, and he gets +2 dice if he's if they've already been attacked by that character. That gets a lot of people. They hit you twice, and then you're just like, boom, take 3, and they're like, oh god.
I think his offense and his defense feel pretty equivalent, being that he can do both pretty good. I'll go with the 6 again.
Parker.
I'm going to go with the 6.
Well, now I have to go with the 6. It's required. Now Aaron's going to give him like a 4.
I was
Like, fuck
debating
this guy.
5, but we'll go 6.
All right. Well, it's going to be a 6 anyway, so. Moving on to support. He has none.
Concur.
Nope.
Moving on, control. He has
This rogue
none.
agent counts as support.
That's digging.
That would be interesting if we counted rogue agent, but I don't think we're going to. I like to give him a brute because it's kind of his whole purpose is he kind of just stands there, like he gets into a spot and holds it.
I agree.
Overall rating, Jeremy.
5.
Parker.
I feel like he's been totally power crept, so I'm going to say 3.
Yeah,
Seems-
I think that's a fair argument. I'm going to go with a 4 because I do think he's underrated. But that being said, it's mostly because he doesn't do support or control, and every new 3-point model does one of those things, which is why he never gets played.
Or a 3-point model that does all of those things.
That has rogue agent.
I'm gonna go with a 3 as well, only because his defense shtick is quasi-reliant on your opponent to play into it.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh yeah, 1 attack from each of my characters, not 2 attacks from this one. And all of
Yeah.
a sudden, all he has is 3/3/3 with martial artist, which
If
again
he-
you can play around.
Yeah. If they gave him Captain America's shield throw or just Sam's shield throw, he's back on the map instantly. I think
Mhm.
giving him Sam's shield throw would be a great way to get him reinvigorated into the meta, but they're not really interested in updating legacy models, so that's not going to happen.
Mhm.
And with that, that wraps up criminals. So we have Bullseye, who is a 6. Shadowlands Daredevil is a 7. Taskmaster 4. Black Cat 7. Hood 9. Kingpin 7. And Electra 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think Jeremy did not, but I think everybody else did. I think Jeremy is so tired of these criminals that he doesn't want
I'm
to do
just
this
tired of
anymore.
fun criminals. I'm tired of hearing about
Yeah.
Shadowland.
I am
hearing about
also
Kingpin.
tired of criminals. I'm glad that Malekith is going to shake it up because, man, I did not want to live in a rapid fire meta for any longer. Because we were already in the rapid fire meta if everybody else wasn't. Like, we've already been living there for a few months.
It's been glorious.
It's been terrible. It's been the most... It's like, what if Sam Avengers was, like, the exciting list? Like, that's what fucking rapid fire lists feel like.
I think Rapid Fire lists feel worse than that because Sam Avengers was at least pretty passive, and the Rapid Fire list will just, I won on turn 3. What do you do? You're like, oh.
But it was
guess I
like,
just
there were
died.
0 decisions that were made. It's like, I activate the model that's obviously in rapid fire range. He declares rapid fire against your models. I roll 3 hits. You roll your defense now. All right, you take 2 damage.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna trigger rapid fire. Here's the rapid fire attack. You got 3 hits. When you roll your defense, you take 2 damage. All right, I'm gonna second action shoot you again. Roll 3 hits on rapid fire. Your defense. Oh, you're dazed. Okay, he's done.
I'm sitting here looking at this list, and I feel almost exactly like you're saying. Like I'll read them down. Bullseye, motherfucking annoying. Shadowland Daredevil again. Taskmaster,
Double annoying.
who?
Twice
Black
as
Cat,
annoying as
really?
a normal annoying model. Yeah.
Black Cat, really? Oh, of course you're playing Black Cat. Who gives a fuck? Oh, Hood. Hood's interesting. He's pretty cool these days. Kingpin. Well, he'll never die. Elektra, who?
Yeah.
Like, I hate all of the criminal models. Like, they're just so fucking... Except for Hood. Hood's cool. We're bros.
Hood is super cool.
Yeah.
I hate Hood a little bit because he's overpowered, but that guy is so fun to play that I don't even really feel that bad. It's
I
like,
feel like
yeah,
the
of course
tier
you're playing
list-
Hood. He's awesome.
The tier list is growing. You got Hood,
Mhm.
Heimdall. Like, there's a handful of them that just
Yeah.
are not appropriate.
Yeah. I think Heimdall's really only busted with Steve, and so I don't feel as bad for him, but
yeah.
man, I think he's busted with Steve.
Mhm.
Anyway, I think we're good to go and wrap it up tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. This has been Brandon.
And Dr. Amanda Toboggan, MD.
Jeremy.
And Aaron.
This has been Heimdall's Broken.
So what are we gonna call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just gonna put down infamous.
Did it. Good job, everybody.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
We're so well done.
I got stuck on an airplane on a tarmac for
Oh,
5 fucking hours.
Like longer than your flight.
Oh, much longer.
Yeah.
We got stuck there so long that we got on the plane at 2 o'clock. We got to our destination at, I think it was like 9. And the flight was only like an hour. It was insane, man. Like, it was to the point where you're just like looking, and I'm just looking around the plane going, is this real? Like, am I like, is this a boiling point episode? Like, do I win a prize when I get off last? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Oof.
I've heard the reasons that they like don't let you off the plane are like really dumb. It's like they don't want to risk you demanding a refund or something.
In this case, it was raining, and they did offer you could get off, but there was caveats. It was, listen, we're still at the gate. You can get off if you want. Take your ID, take your ticket. You have to deplane. So we're going to remove your information. When we start to load again, we will let you know. You will not have any time. We could reload at any time, and if you miss your flight, you miss your flight. We have to check you back in. So like, I'm sitting there with me and my girlfriend and the boys, and I'm like, well, we're already sitting here. We've got the crayons out, and we're coloring.
Yeah.
And like, what? You don't just, and you're always thinking maybe the next 10 minutes will go. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the hope.
Yeah, man, we did that. We ate breakfast at about 9:30. The Uber driver was sweet enough to take us to McDonald's at 9. That was the next time we actually ate real food. We ate peanuts on the flight. Yeah, dude, I was about as angry as I could possibly be and just exhausted with life.
I've been on a tarmac for 18 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Did you just like sleep through the night? Like what happened?
Soviet
It was
Russia
overnight.
tarmacs are 18 hours.
Say what?
In Soviet Russia, tarmacs
Yeah.
are 18 hours.
That's where it
Was
was
this
at.
like was this like a work/job thing where you were like, I can't leave? Like
No, it was in Russia.
this wasn't a personal flight, right? Yeah, this
It was a
your
work
job.
thing. But it wasn't scheduled. I was in the hands of the Russian Federation, and we'd finished inspecting what we were looking at, and there were some forest fires coming towards us, so they had to move us. So they flew us like an hour away. But something they don't do really well over there is flexibility. So like our plan was not like we had a certain schedule to meet for like the next couple of days. So rather than let us out of,
like, we don't know what to do now.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Americans are not supposed to be in this city. Do not let them out of the plane. Okay, well we're not supposed to be in the next city. Stay on the. So we sat on the fucking tarmac for 18 hours. We overnighted in this tiny ass plane with no food, nothing, because they're not flexible enough to be like, oh, let's use some initiative and let's go get a hotel somewhere. They're like, no, we're just gonna sleep here overnight until tomorrow, and then we'll get back on our schedule.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Yeah, my CO has not informed me specifically to do anything, so we're gonna sit here because that's the only way I don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, all kinds of crazy shit like that exist definitely in the military. It does not. It's not supposed to exist.
American Airlines.
It's not supposed to exist in America. This great America again. Come on now.
I want to say like the crew doesn't get paid for tarmac time either. They get paid for the trip, and so that's one of the reasons they don't want to back off, because the airline isn't losing any money, but like, if people get off the plane and cancel their flights, they could lose money. And so the airline tells them, basically, if at all possible, do not put the plane back at the dock, or whatever it's called, like the terminal. Don't go back to the terminal, because it's basically free for them to have it sit on the tarmac and wait.
Well, all I know is when I got off the plane and I said, I need tickets for this, and he goes, here they are. And I said, well, this is for tomorrow. And he goes, yep. And I said, well, I've got kids. I've got these people here. How can we fix this? He's like, here's a number to call for a hotel, I guess. And I said, well, this is your fault, not mine. And he goes, it's God's fault. Like, it was weather. And I'm just
That's like the ultimate passing the buck. You're like, no, God did this to you.
And at that point, something snapped in my head. It was either an aneurysm or just pure anger. And I go, Heather, please take care of this. Like, I backed away and like took a breath and like sat down. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm going to go to prison for the next 10 years for mauling a man at a fucking check kiosk here to get a fucking ticket.
Yeah, I was at my worst. I was so upset. My kids are the.
Well, this was all the way back from Disney, right? So you've been walking around in the heat for 3 days.
We did 40 miles.
I'm fucking getting home to have a Moscow Mule, and you will not stop me.
40 miles in 4 days. And then a 2-legged flight to get back. And that flight ended up lasting forever. And then 2 more flights later, I got home. It was, man. Whew.
Do you wish
was Guardians of the Galaxy worth it? Yes. It was still worth it.
Did you try all the weird ass foods they have?
Weird foods. Where?
Or maybe that's at the Avengers place that's opening. But the Guardians of the Galaxy place, right?
No, they don't have. There's no weird foods there.
Oh, okay. I saw a video online of like the like food stands they're planning on opening, and there's a bunch of weird, crazy shit that they have there.
There's a bunch of weird, crazy shit in the Star Wars land, because those people are in Star Wars land. You go into Star Wars land, you are part of Star Wars now. They do not work at Disney. They live at Star Wars land. It is fucking weird. It's cool, but it's weird. Yeah, so you guys exploded with the extravaganza last week. That was exciting.
Did you listen?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep. You guys did a good job on that one. There's a lot of... everybody's kind of doing the same thing on podcasts last week. That was kind of the thing.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, it just cruise over. I mean, Malekith is kind of all that matters right now, like how that's going and like the world that exists before him and now the world that is after him.
He's so good.
Yeah, he seems good. He seems like exactly the model I've always looked for, except he looks dumb as fuck.
I feel obligated to point out that you were like, he's just okay. Like when he got spoiled, you're like, he's not that good.
I don't think he's broken, but he's really good.
I love Domino. And now I've got a Domino that can do so much more.
Yeah.
I just played him in my last TTS game. Completely random. He murdered everyone.
I would much rather try and live in the world that Malekith exists in than to try and just survive against fucking Shadowlands Daredevil all day. That list is so so boring and just annoying to play against. Like, all right, so we're just gonna sit here and see how statistically unlikely your dice are gonna roll this game. That sounds fun.
You get peppered for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like how
that's
many
what it
times can you get
is.
5 hits on 4 dice? Fuck you.
Yup.
Well, until August 12th.
I do enjoy how single models, kind of like War Machine, a single model will change the meta at least for a minute. Like
Mhm.
Shadowlands Zero Level, that's cool. You know, now Malekith, that's cool. Thanos, that's cool. Whatever, like whatever the model of the minute is.
There's like that 3 months of
Yeah,
that was
that's
the
fun.
phase they lived in.
Yeah, and then it calms down, everybody chills out, and it's fine. It's fine.
I don't think Malekith is fundamentally different than Hulk.
You think?
I mean, clearly they are different, but they are both high threat, high health bruisers that have their own movement shenanigans and hit like a truck.
Mhm. Yeah, but doesn't Malekith hit a lot harder? Like Hulk can just drop dice and nothing happens.
Malekith's builder's a 7, Hulk's a 7.
Well, it's a 7 with Pierce, and he has the crit mechanics.
Yes,
His
That's
dice are
pretty
better.
Malekith is
noticeably
straight
better.
up better. He's
Yeah.
also costs 1 more. Hulk
Uh-huh.
could get better with damage on him. So,
Also, Malekith's threat range is like way bigger.
really?
Yeah, charge is way better than leap. Leap isn't even a short move.
I'll grant you that.
It's still. I can see.
doesn't
how
have a
you're
throw.
comparing them,
That's true. He doesn't have board manipulation. That's relevant.
but they are comparable in some ways. I understand what you're saying there.
Like, I don't think if Hulk's been around, like Malekith is not something completely new, right?
Mhm.
That's
If
fair.
you had to have a plan to deal with Hulk, gamma leaping into your squad and devastating it, like, well, use the same plan against Malekith.
Doesn't Malekith get like he has the same rules as Domino, right? So he gets
Mhm.
to use skulls as crits for defense.
If he pays for it,
Either or, yeah.
as well as
See,
dodging.
yeah, that might be that. I don't know. It's like he's 1 point more expensive, but that might be worth a lot more than 1 point. Like that's really good. I don't
I
know.
agree. I'm not arguing. Having just played him, yes.
He held you underwater until you
No,
tapped
no, no.
out.
I
No.
played him.
Oh, you used him.
I put him in my roster
Yeah.
swap season at the at end of
You
week 3.
scumbag.
I
What
randomly,
is
I
it?
even had my entire list selected. Use with
Yeah.
Shadowlands. I was like, screw it. And I swapped to Malekith after I had my list
Nice.
selected. It was the right call.
Is he weak against anything, like an attack? Or is he just
He's
stats 4/4? Yeah, he seems fun. He's exactly my playstyle for sure. I just like beaters.
I mean, Toad incinerated me and walked away, and I was like, oh, this could be bad. So,
Oops.
playing against Scarlet Witch, I mean, she can just one-shot me. So there's definitely counterplay.
Is he a medium move?
Yes.
Medium move, large base.
Medium move,
With the
large base
charge?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Charge for 2?
Yeah.
With a throw if it does damage.
Yeah. Throw any
But you have-
size?
But you have to do
Yes.
throw any size, but you have to do the basic attack.
Yeah, I've been paying attention a lot to throws of any size. I've been using Black Dwarf a lot. I'm like, oh god. Like, oh no, no. don't look at him. No. Who can do it? Who can do it?
Where's Rogue?
Yeah. No, the one that was getting me recently that was I had to twist my head around was what is the Luke Cage's card? I believe that's a throw. any
Heroes for
size.
hire.
It is size
Up to
3.
3.
Is it 3?
Yes.
I might have been respecting it too much then. But I definitely was if it's only size 3.
It's easy to lose it in the wall of text that is that card, but yeah, it's limited to 3.
But the thing is in that circumstance, because I didn't have that card in front of me, I didn't want to bring it up. Hey, if you throw Black Dwarf,
You want to point out that
No, I
he had
I
he
just-
had noticed.
I just silently sat there and I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah, you ever find yourself in that spot when you're playing against somebody and you're like, I can't remember if this guy's just making terrible decisions or if I'm misremembering what the ability does.
Yeah.
And so you're like, it's like, I don't want to ask because I might tell him how to play better, but also, why are you doing this?
Well, it's like, again, back to War Machine, where you're like, can I see your caster card? You're like,
No
oh,
apparent
fuck.
reason.
Oh,
And you pretend to read like the spell side for a while,
Yeah.
and then turn it over because you really want to check their feet. You try to read as fast as you can, go back to the spell side.
or just their health. You're just like looking
Yeah.
at their health.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What's their hit points again?
See, in MCP,
Can't remember.
I like to ask my opponent every time, would you like to use Heroes for Hire? And they're like, oh. And they're like, no. I'll be like, oh.
Trying to
okay.
get them to use it early.
Yeah. Or I'll be like, huh, okay. Making them like second guess themselves, like, oh, should I have used it? It just gets completely in their head.
I swear to God, and Richard listens to this, I believe. Richard is notorious and makes me crazy because he'll ask every ability on your entire side of the table if you're going to use it, and then he'll tell you specifically what the best thing to do is during your turn. And it makes me crazy, and I can't tell if he's fucking with me or not. It's horrible.
No, yeah. Richard like gets in his own head so that he doesn't forget stuff. He
Yeah,
tries to like talk out the like order of priority and operations for all of the mechanics going on at the same time. He's like, all right, so I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna roll these dice. You're gonna roll your dice. I'm gonna resolve my crits. You're gonna resolve your. You're like, Richard, calm down. Like you need to relax a bit. You constantly explaining how my defensive dice work is not helping me or you.
Again, I
tone it
just
down.
feel like he's fucking with me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the best move. God damn you.
Hmm.
Just quit it.
Parker, you look tired.
I am. Been a long week trying to
Is
rev
school
up.
happening right now? I don't.
No,
Or you just.
No, he doesn't have a job right now. He's just complaining.
I'm trying to fit all the things that I have to do before the summer ends into the next 4 days, and it's hard.
We're doing that with a job.
Yeah.
Not that you're asking for.
He has zero respect for anything we're saying right now. It's like I literally could not care less. Parker, I also know what it's like to only work like 1/3 of the year, and then people look down on you because you have all this free time.
It is difficult.
It's real hard. All right, so on the docket, we are going to rate the criminal syndicates we have not already rated. I've highlighted them in the document if you guys want to pull that up.
So we're not going to do the topic about
We might talk about it for a bit, but let's get the criminals done first.
Okay.
Also, I've been informed, I did not notice because I didn't actually listen to a lot of the recording. Somebody has graduated from chewing ice and Chex Mix to clicking a pen while we record. I don't know who it was, but Jeremy pointed that out.
One of you pin clicking sons of bitches.
pin clicking.
I have no
I
pens.
don't even have a pen here.
Me neither.
Aaron, you're fired.
Whoa.
Whoa, I'm sorry. I thought I was at work.
For that moment when the grocery bagger fires the cart getter, and you're like, whoa, that's not how this works. Jeremy, you seem like confused.
Well, I just clicked on our page, and then
Mhm.
all kinds of weird ass pop ups. Like I updated my Windows, and it's just weird. There's just stuff and things, man. I don't know.
Is everyone got the spreadsheet pulled up? Does anyone need the link again?
No, I haven't.
It says there's only 2 people in here right now, so one of you isn't.
It's me because I have to log in, and it takes a
Someone
second here.
is an anonymous
That's what I'm
gopher.
fighting.
I have Anonymous Gopher and Anonymous Kiwi.
I must be
That's
Gopher.
Parker.
Why
Oh.
does it make me anonymous? I'm clearly signed in as you had to.
No, it's anonymous because I can't see who it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then-
it's anonymous to me. Like, we're not friends on Google, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, because we're not like Google friends.
Yeah, you're not on my top 8 spaces.
I got it.
Did
That
you
reference that everyone will get.
did you swipe
Mhm.
left?
Oh, Jeremy, you were here for a second.
Jesus Christ.
Now you're gone again. It literally flashed and went away. It's
Okay,
like, hi,
hold on.
Jeremy.
How about now? Am I there? Am I
Have
there?
you tried backing up your computer while we're recording? That usually works for Parker.
You know what? It
Oh.
takes... Am I there? Do I exist?
Anonymous Anteater. We
Hell
got him.
yeah!
Just eating them ants.
Doing it.
All right, guys. I want your ideas for t-shirts because I think I'm gonna get t-shirts made. So we've got our normal infamous logo, right? But
Mhm.
other t-shirt ideas that would be like funny ones. Oh my god, we're being invaded. We also now have an anonymous platypus and elephant in here.
Nice.
All right, and now we have a
Dude, it locked me in like 4 different times.
capybara. Now we have a capybara. What is happening?
Hold on.
Aaron, are you multi-logging in?
It's not me.
That's me.
It's not you.
It's totally me. It's fucking flipping out.
Jeremy has like
All right,
9
I'm
tabs open.
I'm back.
It's like, what's going on?
I'm back. Okay, I'm good. I was thinking for a while, if the back looked like a concert tour shirt, except it had
Like all the events we've gone to.
maybe something like that, or I was thinking along the lines of maybe our catchphrases or stupid things that we always say, or like, Wolverine sucks would be mine. Something like things like that.
We do like a word cloud.
Yeah,
'Cause
'cause I think there's plenty of them that we're all kind of, I don't know, we do.
I think I call things garbage a lot.
Mantis toboggan, like just like dumb stuff that's just us.
Mm-hmm. I want to do the 8-bit drawing of Parker trying to shove his computer into a cloud.
Upload nearly complete.
Yeah, 1%.
Or Thanos is fine.
Yeah. I'm not going to get mad about dice anymore.
Yep.
That'll be a good final words.
I don't know, something like that. I think we could come up with enough like word cloudy stuff to be cool.
Yeah, we could probably do that. That's not a terrible idea. Are you guys ready to start?
Who knows?
I'm fine with that.
Fact.
All right. That was kind of fun.
I don't like talking about all those legacy stupid fucking models. I just don't get too many of them. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think sometimes that's just due to relevance bias. Like, there's the new stuff that comes out and it's flavor of the month and it only gets played because it's new. And, like, Taskmaster is a power crep model. Like, he's not in the meta for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the model... Remember when nobody took Bucky and everyone took Taskmaster as the rogue agent? That was a time that existed in this game. It was, like, a year. And
Taskmaster
then it was, like...
was an X-Men for a while, okay?
What if Bucky doubled his damage output? Yeah, let's just do that. You're like, well, fuck. Yeah, obviously he's better.
Let's just do that. Wait.
What if Bucky got to roll like 36 dice in a turn with rerolls? And you're like, that seems good. That should not be 3 points.
Let's see. Range 5 and hammer is on a D, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
If he spec ops, he can easily shoot the center line.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you know you can stop his Red Fury with Supergiant?
Okay.
Or Indomitable?
Oh, because it says after the push.
Yeah.
What does that help you? What explain? I'm missing it. I don't play it enough.
If you don't push, he doesn't shoot.
Doesn't it triggers on the push being resolved?
I'll read it for
Really?
you. After this
Yeah.
attack is resolved, the target character is pushed away. Then immediately make an assault rifle target attacking that character.
Is that been clarified, or is that just your understanding?
That's been clarified. So it's an if.
There's-
It's an
there's
if then
separate
clause.
sentences.
There are
There's
two
a period.
dude. I agree.
Yeah, that
with
doesn't
you.
make any sense.
That literally doesn't make sense.
It has been ruled as an if then clause.
Yep, that's what they've said.
Oh, so you just hang out on the forums now, Parker?
No, somebody told it to me. I don't know, was it at one of the bigger tournaments we went to? And
Did he sell you some beans?
no, he showed me the fucking post. He had it fucking pulled up.
I will smack a phone out of somebody's hand so fast.
So what's the definition of being pushed then? Like, is it if the effect is attempted to be resolved, or is it if it's canceled? Like, where's the line? Like, what if he's in base contact with something, I push him in that direction so the model doesn't move?
He is
that
actually
still
pushed. Yes.
He is pushed in that example.
That's what
Just
happened.
like he would
in our
actually
game.
be thrown and they'd all take damage, even if he was base to base before the throw. But if you throw him and you Indomitable, there's no damage. Anyway, didn't want to get down a rules rabbit hole, but just wanted to point out there is counterplay. So now you need to bring
Speaking
Supergiant.
of forums and rules, let's talk about our other nugget that we wanted to discuss on the podcast. This, unfortunately, will be well after the podcast, so they'll have to stay for this nugget. But so recently there was an amendment to previous rulings saying that if a tactics card is played, the effects of the tactics card are resolved as an effect of the character or characters who played them. Correct?
Yes.
So as the example is, if Green Goblin and Doc Ock play well-laid plans now, every time they roll the dice against an enemy character, Dr. Octopus, the playing character, is considered to have been rolling those dice. And so it will trigger his scientific hubris on all of those rolls.
Correct statement.
As opposed to previously where it would only affect enemy Doc Ocks. And then somehow also not at the same time, depending on which forum post you're reading.
So 180 out from the way it was ruled previously.
Right.
Correct.
Now, this is actually, in my opinion, a huge benefit. This is a great leap forward based on how things were being ruled. For example, if Juggernaut played Do You Know Who I Am and attempted to throw some and do the Hulk suplex move where he throws you behind him, you collide with Juggernaut, and Juggernaut takes collision damage for that, which made no fucking sense. Like, if you tried to use Fastball Special to throw Logan past Colossus, he'd collide with Colossus.
In the past. So, just so everyone's aware, in the past. Like
that's
2 weeks
the past.
ago.
In the brave new world we exist in today, if you follow the internet and actually pay attention to random forum posts, now that works as what we would call intended, and it would actually function the way you would expect. However, I'm sure Steve still takes damage from Thunderwave, though.
Until they fix that, yes.
Till they fix that.
Actually, maybe not.
He says he's the point of origin of the attack, and I would imagine that because he's still not the attacker.
God.
He is a person resolving the... Because all the card says is you're allowed to resolve this attack once this turn. And so that's the effect of the card. Yeah, I'm going to have to check through the Tactics cards again and see if there's any other fun little nuggets like that.
I just read the whole Bucky situation, and that makes no sense to me. I'm like so frustrated and mad. Like, I'm telling you, show me the phone again,
they
and
just
I just
wanted
throw
to...
their phone.
Yeah. And so that's my problem with this kind of stuff. When they're like, oh, see, this is an example of like a ruling. It's like, it's not about this ruling. The problem is on any kind of rules forum or like public thread or anything like that, they will try to adapt this ruling of this individual ability to every other ability in the game. Because that's how, like, it's supposed to be logical. It's supposed to be intuitive. It's supposed to make sense. And so when something like this gets ruled this way, what happens is now every time a thing says period space, then they say, well, if that first thing didn't happen, then none of it happens. And so if we proliferate that throughout the entire game on every card, there's surely going to be some other examples when stuff doesn't make any sense. Like, that's clearly not what's supposed to happen, right? It's like if something said, the character suffers bleed, period space, then, well, I dazed you on the attacks, you don't suffer bleed, so the rest of your effect doesn't do anything. You're like, well, that's clearly not what they meant. Like, it has nothing to do with the first part. But now there's a ruling that says in this exact grammar instance, it does. And so that's the problem stuff that we run into when they make these blanket rulings like this.
I recommend we start a way of doing things, which is if you ever call a judge over to make a judge ruling, you both immediately lose the game.
No, they're not allowed to use the internet to answer the question, I think would be my rule.
Yeah, they have to figure it out. That's it.
You should use your logical reasoning as a person to make the judge ruling and not look up stupid forum posts. Because here's a perfect example. Did they go through and edit every previous post in all the threads?
No, they're all locked. It's just done. Yeah.
So based on which date stamp that the post has will tell you which way the ability works? I haven't checked this. I'm curious. Like, if we went into the scientific hubris rulings previously, have all of them been updated to say the new correct verbiage and be re-answered?
There's no way.
So.
Because, like, now I could just have 2 posts saved on my phone as screenshots. Like, see right here, he doesn't get scientific hubris. And the judge will be like, oh, okay, sure, he doesn't get it. And then in the next round, you're like, call the judge, I get scientific hubris, right? Here's an example of saying I do. And it's like, that it's messy. Not to mention, like, this is a fairly recent change. And this is a huge update on the forums. And so, if people didn't know this, they're going to be ruling stuff wrong.
Is that just a new one that's on the rules forum?
Yeah, do you not remember Brandon Morris posted that in our channel? And he's like, hey, you guys beat the forums, by the way. Like, they had to update stuff. And it was as a joke, but...
Yeah. No, I just usually check for
that's what he was posting about. I tried to find it earlier. I couldn't find it anywhere.
It was probably already errated, and now it's not true. Like, you know what?
That would not surprise me that much.
So they did update The well-laid plans, all-seeing eye with Heimdall.
What was that question?
It was, can Heimdall reroll the defending characters or targeted characters for well-laid plans? And the answer was yes.
If he's within 3 of Doc.
No, the targeted characters. Heimdall
You're
used...
saying people affected by it.
Yes, the affected characters. So they posted on July 18th, said, not anymore as of this ruling. And they linked to that ruling. The characters being rolled against are no longer considered to be rolling the dice, etc. So Heimdall can now help Doc Ock roll offensively.
As opposed to re-roll them defensively against your characters.
Correct. So I don't know that they've updated every post, but they did that one. That's good.
Yeah. Personally, I just find this very annoying because, like, nobody thought that the re-roll timing was an issue until Domino came out. And then they, like, just invented a problem with the re-roll timing, right? Because they were like, well, what happens now? It's like, well, Domino says re-roll at this time. So they changed the way everything worked and then errated a bunch of cards to fix it when there wasn't a problem to start with. And then AMG came out with a ruling on the internet that said, well, if you're rolling a die for a character, that character's rolling a dice. And they created all these other issues, and now we're, like, seeing other repercussions of that happening. It just feels like...
I don't have anywhere.
It just feels like they're
I don't have
creating
anywhere
problems.
to put my hands.
Yeah, I don't know what's supposed to be happening. I just know that's not working correctly.
Well, they fixed it, so...
Yeah. And it sounds like they're going through and updating the cards, which is really good. Or the forum posts, which is really good. That will go a long way to preventing confusion in the future.
Both opponents will roll each other's dice.
Yeah.
And make decisions based on...
I still don't understand how Doc Ock is rolling his own defense dice, but Venom is forcing him to do it. That is so illogical to me. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Just stop. Just stop. So,
Oh my god,
like,
oh my god.
The answer is because I said so, you've created a problem.
I just spent 3 days in northern Wisconsin. That was fun.
Yeah. Was it fun, or are you just saying it was fun?
I enjoy all the bug bites and sunburn. So no.
Cool.
Was it like 80 degrees there?
It was a balmy 78. So
Yeah, I would say it's probably nice.
Lived in a cabin on a lake. It was gorgeous. Little fire at night. Needed sweats. It was a good break
Nice.
from misery.
I finally found the post he made.
I'm going real far north on Sunday.
Farther than Lake Superior?
Juneau, Alaska. Yeah.
Okay,
much
yeah,
farther.
you win.
Lord, what do you have up there?
My wife's client is Alaska, for at least a little while. She's might be getting a promotion soon, so this might be the last opportunity. We're going to get the girls and my mom, because my dad is a bit of a curmudgeon, and in the retirement, he just doesn't want to do anything, and so we're coming with us. We have bring in a babysitter, and she is so excited. So
Wow.
That's cool.
it is going to be cool, but it does mean that I will not be here next week. So do something awesome in my absence.
We'll probably rate some factions we care about, and so we can avoid the numbers creep.
You go for it. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not the only number creeper anymore. Aaron had my back a lot tonight.
Well, he loves criminals, so of course he did. I noticed that.
Yeah. Oh, that's bullshit. You don't get he doesn't get a fucking pass. He's just like, oh no, it makes perfect sense for Aaron. You're just an asshole. Is Brandon's response to
No,
that?
he's a novice is the difference.
Oh right, because you didn't give me shit the
No.
very
I
first
just
time
love
I tried
that.
this.
No, I'm just giving you all the shit because I like to give you shit.
I know.
I was weaponizing anti-numbers creep against all three of you.
That's true.
Like, every model, if we rate everything and the average is an 11 out of 10, then we've rated them incorrectly. The bell curve should show that if we average them all together, we should get a 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that should be what we're aiming for, is that our bell curve is accurate. If we have nothing but 3s and 8s, then we've rated terribly.
True.
And so as we're rating, keep in mind, like, in the spectrum of the whole game, does this like a 70 percentile model? Is that what you're saying? And you're like, yes, that's what I'm saying. You're like, okay, well then it should get a 7, maybe an 8.
I get it.
Yeah.
I need to be brought back to that, like against the whole game,
yeah.
70 to 80% month. I like that. I feel like I can do that, but I don't do it all the time because I'm thinking about how much I like the model or how much I've seen the model do.
Yeah.
In a world
As
where we base every ruling on Doc Ock for some fucking reason, what you're saying makes no sense to me.
Well, this is going to go down in infamy as the 6 months where we argue about who's rolling the fucking dice. And then eventually this will get figured out, and we'll be back on track, and the game will be interesting
Jesus
again.
Christ.
And we won't sit here and argue about, well, hold on. My mother's cousin's wife's fiance once said that I get to roll my dice. So, like, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is this so confusing?
Listen, I've
It's
got
just
Will
dice.
Padani on the phone right now.
Yeah. Who exactly is rolling these dice, and
What?
why won't they stop?
What is rolling the dice? Why are we rolling the dice? Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited. I had fun over the weekend. It was I think the best single tournament I've played in. All of my opponents were really good, and all my games were super clean and interesting.
That's good.
Every other tournament I've gone to, I've had like, oh, well, this round my dice just crapped out. Like I didn't have anything else to say about the game, but it was like an epic dicing, or like one way or the other. And I was like, well, this was boring. Or like, oh, well, I had 7 wide, my opponent played 3 wide, so I just won. Like none of that happened. It was all really. It seemed like the people down there were A, on top of their game, and B, ready to play. And nobody really got super diced one way or the other.
How many players were there?
So, we had, I think, 20 or 22. There was some last minute dropouts. One whole carload of people got COVID the week before, so we had 6 people drop because of one COVID outbreak.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, it's a fun time.
I've been having a
All right,
super
let's go
fun
ahead.
time with Corvus-led Black Order. It's super fun.
It looks fun. I would be playing that right now if it wasn't for Convocation.
Yeah.
Or actually, I might have gotten back to Brotherhood. I probably would try Black Order first.
Do what I'm doing. Use both.
Use both. All right, let's get out of here.